Chapter 4987. That brat is the descendant of the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor. I'm not surprised that he has the token to enter the Devil Mountain, a cultivator said. So what if he's the descendant of the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor? Any opportunity that appears in front of the world can be obtained by anyone, someone said with a sneer. At this time, another person said, let's try our best to break the restriction and enter the mountain. If we can't break the restriction, we'll wait for that brat to come out. When he comes out, we'll kill him. At that time, his opportunities, treasures, wealth, and other things will all be ours. The cultivator who said this was none other than Huang Fuqing Tian. His hatred for Lin Feng could not be washed away by the water of the four seas. Therefore, he naturally wanted to find an opportunity to kill Lin Feng. At that moment, he wanted everybody to join hands and kill Lin Feng. Then let's kill him, young Master Mingyu said coldly. Lin Feng had joined forces with Yun Tianyu and the others to destroy the Baji Palace. This kind of hatred was absolutely irreconcilable. Everyone naturally knew that young Master Mingyu hated Lin Feng deeply. Therefore, they felt that it was very normal to see young Master Mingyu stand out. At this time, it would be strange if young Master Mingyu did not come out to encourage everyone to deal with Lin Feng. That's right. Let's join forces to kill Lin Feng. Let's grind his bones and scatter his ashes, the great demon Yu said. Many people came out one after another, wanting to join forces to deal with Lin Feng. There were also many people who did not want to participate. They did not want to offend Lin Feng, such as the experts of the Western Heaven Immortal sect. They all knew that Zhang Wentian and Lin Feng were on good terms. There was no need to fall out with Lin Feng because of some opportunities. Obviously, they would gain more benefits by cooperating with Lin Feng. Lin Feng did not know what was going on outside. Now, he and Ling Zishi were quickly rushing towards the depths of the Devil Mountain. They entered a cave in the depths. This cave was full of life. The reason for this was because there were all kinds of living utensils in this cave. For example, there were pots and pans for cooking, as well as some tea sets and so on. This should be the place where the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor used to live. Speaking of which, your ancestor is quite interesting. As a cultivator, he actually started a fire to cook? Are cultivators not allowed to eat? You should know that there are many foodies in this world. Lin Feng rolled his eyes and said. He was also a foodie and knew how to cook. However, Ling Zishi hadn't tasted Lin Feng's cooking yet. After Ling Zishi tasted Lin Feng's cooking, he was sure that this little girl would cry and beg him to cook for her. Lin Feng said, one must have a sense of life. Life is not just about cultivation. Ling Zishi said with a smile. Okay, I want to experience life with you. That's easy. Let's roll in the sheets later. Lin Feng said with a smile. Go to hell. Ling Zishi threw a punch at Lin Feng, but Lin Feng quickly jumped away. He walked towards a stone room. There was nothing valuable in the main cave, so Lin Feng hoped that there would be some good stuff in the stone rooms. Lin Feng was also thinking about something else. Was the corpse of his ancestor, the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor, still here? In the past, the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor's natal treasure, the heaven-devouring jar, had been destroyed. From this, one could see how tragic that battle was. After that battle, the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor disappeared. The reason for that battle and whether the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor had died in that battle had become a mystery. However, Lin Feng guessed that the heaven-devouring Devil Emperor might have died in that battle. His mood was somewhat gloomy. Lin Feng pushed open the stone door of a stone room and entered. Ling Zishi ran in and said, There's a stone bed. It seems to be a place to rest. Hey, look, there are 2 worn-out pillows on the stone bed and a dressing table. There's a woman living here. Your ancestor really knows how to enjoy life. When he lived here in seclusion, he even kept a mistress in a golden house. Maybe that woman is my ancestor's wife. If that's the case, that woman is also my ancestor. So, you better watch your words. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I'll execute you on the spot. Lin Feng said fiercely. Ling Zishi opened her mouth to say something, But when she thought of Lin Feng's gloomy mood, she did not say anything to provoke Lin Feng. After all, this might be the place where his ancestor died. Anyone who went to the place where their ancestor died would not be in a good mood. I won't lower myself to your level. Ling Zishi comforted herself in her heart. Lin Feng did not find anything valuable in this room, so he walked out and opened the second stone room. The second stone room was an alchemy room. There were many porcelain bottles here. Lin Feng walked to the shelf, opened a porcelain bottle, and smelled it. He could not help but sigh. The elixir inside had been destroyed. It was a pity. Ling Zishi also checked it and said, "So many elixirs were destroyed just like that. It really makes people want to cry but have no tears." Lin Feng also had the same feeling. These elixirs were definitely some top-notch elixirs, but they were destroyed just like that. Anyone who saw it would feel heartache. However, at this point, what was done could not be undone. There was no use in feeling heartache. Lin Feng kept the elixirs. Ling Zishi said, "These elixirs have already become useless. Why did you collect them?" Lin Feng said, "I can feed them to the insect swarm. The effect should be good." Lin Feng then left the stone room and went to the third stone room. As soon as he opened the third stone room, Lin Feng felt a violent fluctuation coming from the stone room. Lin Feng looked inside and saw a treasure floating in the stone room. It was an ancient war spear. That war spear emitted waves of destructive energy waves. Epic war spear! The demon lord flew out of the demon bead and looked at the war spear with a shocked expression. "Demon lord, is this epic war spear very famous?" Lin Feng asked in surprise. "It's famous. Of course it's famous. The sovereign progenitor used the collapse of the previous epoch and the birth of this epoch to forge this war spear. Although it's not an ancient weapon, many ancient weapons are not as strong as this war spear. It's also a top-notch treasure passed down by the sovereign progenitor clan. I never thought that this war spear would fall into the hands of the heaven-devouring devil emperor." Chapter 4988. Upon hearing the demon lord's words, Lin Feng was shocked. The epical war spear was so powerful? Even now, Lin Feng still couldn't figure out how these weapons were categorized. For example, ancient weapons. Lin Feng knew that ancient weapons were supreme treasures that surpassed saint weapons, but he didn't know how they were categorized. Ling Zishi said, "Wow, this treasure is so powerful. I don't think you can find many such powerful treasures in the wasteland. Lin Feng, why don't you give this treasure to me as a token of your love? Since when were we in love? Why didn't I know about it?" Lin Feng curled his lips and said. He looked at the demon lord and asked, "Demon lord, how are these ancient weapons categorized?" The demon lord said, "Ancient weapons are the top weapons among all weapons. There are no other weapons that can surpass the might of ancient weapons. Of course, there are some weapons in this world that aren't ancient weapons, but their might can reach the level of ancient weapons. These weapons are very special. You can't forge them just because you want to. These weapons are forged by chance or under certain conditions, such as the epical war spear passed down by the sovereign emperor clan. In fact, there are some things that I don't need to tell you. Even if you don't know, you should have some doubts in your heart. For example, the sovereign emperor clan isn't a race from this era." Lin Feng nodded and said, "Indeed, I know about that." He paused for a moment and continued, "The Undying clan isn't a power of this era as well. However, they've overcome the suppression of the laws of this era. So, their cultivations won't fall even if they cross eras." "Yes." The demon lord nodded. Then, the demon lord continued, "However, there are differences between different races. For example, among the races that have crossed eras, some are kind and good, some are both good and evil, and some are evil. This is the biggest difference. Apart from that, there are also great differences in strength between the races that have crossed eras. For example, many races that have crossed eras have to go into hibernation after the destruction of the old era and the birth of the new era. They don't dare to show themselves because if they are discovered by the laws of heaven and earth, they will be killed mercilessly. In fact, Even during the first few eras of the new era, the laws of heaven and earth are very unstable. Therefore, those races that have crossed eras didn't dare to show themselves. If they show themselves when the laws of heaven and earth are unstable, their families might be killed mercilessly. This has happened many times, so those races that have crossed eras are very careful. But obviously, your ancestor wasn't afraid of these things. Therefore, he can still be very active during the destruction and birth of an era. He even dares to use the power of the destruction and birth of an era to forge a supreme treasure. I have seen 3 treasures like the Era War Spear. This is the 4th one. It's not an ancient weapon, but it's comparable to some of the top ancient weapons. It seems that everything that you have come here is fate. Now go and collect this supreme treasure. Lin Feng nodded and walked towards the Era War Spear. However, an invisible force pushed Lin Feng back. Although the invisible force didn't harm Lin Feng's body, it prevented Lin Feng from getting closer. This made Lin Feng's expression turn ugly. What's going on? Could it be that this supreme treasure doesn't belong to me? Thinking of this, Lin Feng had the urge to vomit blood. Even the Demon Lord couldn't help but frown slightly. After all, the Demon Lord didn't have the experience of refining such a weapon. Leng Zishi giggled and said, "It seems that I have fate with this war spear. Let me give it a try." Leng Zishi walked towards the Era War Spear. Buzz! Suddenly, the Era War Spear shook slightly. Then, an invisible force blasted towards Leng Zishi. After feeling the invisible force, Lin Feng's expression changed drastically. Danger! 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 Quickly dodge! Lin Feng shouted and rushed towards Leng Zishi. Leng Zishi was completely scared out of her wits. After being enveloped by the invisible force, she felt like she was dead. Even with Lin Feng's speed, it was too late to save Leng Zishi. The invisible force blasted Leng Zishi's body directly. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel pain in his heart. Leng Zishi, this little girl, was probably dead. He felt a little depressed. So depressed that he found it hard to breathe. However, at this critical juncture, the jade pendant on Leng Zishi's waist suddenly lit up. Then, a ray of sacred light protected Leng Zishi. Bang! Leng Zishi was blasted out and her body hit the rock wall heavily. Wah! In the next moment, Leng Zishi was so scared that she cried. To be able to make Leng Zishi, this little demoness, cry was truly a rare thing. Lin Feng walked over and patted Leng Zishi's shoulder. You scared me to death. I thought I was going to die. Leng Zishi hugged Lin Feng and said. Originally, Lin Feng wanted to gloat. However, after thinking about it, he didn't say those words. Leng Zishi was really scared to death. It was really fortunate that she was able to survive. Lin Feng said. It's okay. Leng Zishi used Lin Feng's clothes to wipe her tears and got up from the ground. However, her eyes were filled with fear when she looked at the epic war spear. Lin Feng glanced at the jade pendant on Leng Zishi's waist. The jade pendant was really powerful. It actually blocked the attack of the epic war spear. Lin Feng guessed that Leng Zishi's background was extraordinary. Now, it seemed that his guess was right. Leng Zishi's background was really extraordinary. Of course, Lin Feng didn't ask too much. He looked at the epic war spear again. Now, Lin Feng's mind was filled with thoughts of how to obtain the epic war spear. Maybe you can sacrifice the blood of an imperial sovereign to the epic war spear. Let the epic war spear know that you are from the imperial sovereign clan. This way, you might be recognized by the epic war spear. The demon lord thought of an idea and said. Lin Feng nodded and began to chant the incantation of the great sacrificial art. The descendant of the imperial sovereign clan, Lin Feng, is willing to sacrifice my imperial sovereign blood to the epic war spear. I hope to fight side by side with the epic war spear and restore the glory of the imperial sovereign clan. Lin Feng released a drop of ruler's great imperial blood from his finger. The drop of ruler's great imperial blood appeared in the air and started burning. Chapter 49-89. After the epical war spear absorbed the sovereign blood's energy, Lin Feng clearly felt a very special aura emanating from the epical war spear. This aura gave Lin Feng a very intimate feeling. After feeling this aura, Lin Feng couldn't help but be happy. It seemed like the epical war spear had formed a connection with him after absorbing the sovereign blood's energy. Lin Feng didn't stop and continued to sacrifice his sovereign blood. After sacrificing 10 drops, Lin Feng and the epical war spear finally formed a very close connection. This was a bloodline connection. Lin Feng walked towards the epical war spear step by step. At this time, the epical war spear seemed to have sensed Lin Feng's aura and began to vibrate violently. After feeling the vibrations, Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. The epical war spear was very important to him. It wasn't only a magic treasure but also a symbol of the sovereign imperial clan. This time, the epical war spear didn't stop Lin Feng from approaching. Lin Feng smoothly arrived next to the epical war spear and reached out to grab it. Clang! Lin Feng grabbed the epical war spear. When Lin Feng's hand touched the epical war spear, countless runes appeared on the surface. Lin Feng felt as if the epical war spear had turned into an extension of his body. Lin Feng tried to activate the epical war spear. His magic power continuously poured into the epical war spear. The epical war spear's aura became stronger and stronger. Moreover, the epical war spear spewed out a spear light. Lin Feng was pleasantly surprised after seeing this. He could actually activate the epical war spear. This was completely different from using other ancient weapons. In order to activate an ancient weapon, one needed to break through to the true immortal realm to be able to activate a little bit of the weapon's power. However, the epical war spear wasn't like this. Although the epical war spear was stronger than other ancient weapons, it was a supreme treasure passed down by the sovereign imperial clan. Therefore, the conditions for activating this supreme treasure weren't as restrictive as the other ancient weapons. Of course, this was mainly because Lin Feng had the sovereign imperial bloodline flowing in his veins. If others were to activate the epical war spear, they wouldn't be able to get close to it, let alone activate it. How do you feel? Demon Lord asked. Lin Feng replied. I can feel the power of the epical war spear. Although I can't, with my current cultivation, I can only unleash a small portion of its power. But even so, a small portion of its power is its power. But it's enough, it's terrifying enough. How long can you last? Demon Lord asked. Lin Feng smiled wryly. I think it won't last long, Lin Zishi said. A man should never say that he can hold on for a short time. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. Lin Zishi was really capable of saying anything. The title of Little Witch, she really lived up to her name. Now, in addition to the title of Little Witch, it seemed like she should be called Little Dirty Woman to match her temperament. Of course, Lin Feng couldn't be bothered with Lin Zishi right now. Now that he had obtained the epical war spear, Lin Feng was in a good mood. Don't worry. As your cultivation increases, your magical power will become stronger and stronger. The time you can activate the epical war spear will also increase. Although the epical war spear can't be used as a conventional weapon, since you can activate it, you can at least use it as a trump card, Demon Lord said. Lin Feng nodded. In fact, even if he could activate the epical war spear as he wished, Lin Feng wouldn't always rely on it. He still needed to rely on himself. Relying on powerful magical treasures would be detrimental to his cultivation. Lin Feng kept the epical war spear and walked towards the fourth stone chamber. Lin Feng opened the fourth stone chamber, and found many jade cylinders and scrolls. Clearly, there were many inheritances here. Lin Feng looked at Lin Zishi and said, Go and see if there's anything you like. Imprint it. Hee, that's great. I hope there's a top-notch divine ability, Lin Zishi said with a smile. She began to look at the inheritances. Some of the jade cylinders were damaged, and some of the scroll's contents were missing due to the passage of time. Seeing this, Lin Feng was naturally depressed. Fortunately, most of the jade cylinders and scrolls were in relatively good condition. These jade cylinders and scrolls were made of special materials, and with the support of divine power, they could be preserved for a longer time than pills. Lin Feng also looked at the jade cylinders and scrolls. He found that the inheritances recorded were indeed top-notch divine abilities. However, there weren't any top-notch divine abilities, such as the all-true Buddhas, Emperor's scriptures, 6 paths of reincarnation fist, emptiness of eternity, Dragon Emperor's roar, and so on. Of course, these divine abilities that Lin Feng mentioned could only be found by chance. Perhaps the ultimate divine abilities created by the heaven-devouring evil emperor could reach this level. However, there were no ultimate divine abilities created by the heaven-devouring evil emperor. Lin Feng felt that it was a pity. However, there was still one last chamber. The heaven-devouring evil emperor seemed to have passed away in that chamber. I want this, and this, Leng Zishi said. Leng Zishi, on the other hand, was very happy to choose the divine ability inheritances. Although the divine ability inheritances here were not the most powerful, there were still some divine abilities that made people's hearts palpitate. Leng Zishi chose a dozen divine abilities, and then she imprinted them. Lin Feng then put away the jade cylinders and scrolls that recorded the inheritances. After that, Lin Feng arrived in front of the last room and opened the door. There was a huge black cauldron in the chamber. Apart from that, there was nothing else. My ancestor didn't pass away here? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. The demon lord nodded and said, That seems to be the case. How strange! Lin Feng frowned even more. Leng Zishi said, Your ancestor might not have died back then. Anyway, no one saw him die. The news about your ancestor's death is all hearsay. Chapter 4990. Lin Feng naturally did not wish for his ancestor to die. However, his ancestor had indeed disappeared for countless years. In addition, his natal magic treasure had been shattered in the previous battle. One could imagine how tragic that battle was. Therefore, was it possible that his ancestor was not dead? Leng Zishi said. So many years have passed. Don't think about those things. Quickly go and see what's in that giant cauldron. Lin Feng came back to his senses and nodded. He walked towards the giant cauldron. Then, Lin Feng opened the giant cauldron. This is... Lin Feng looked at the giant cauldron in shock. It was actually half a cauldron of golden liquid. However, Lin Feng did not know what the golden liquid was. However, since it was the liquid left behind by his ancestor, it meant that the liquid should be extremely extraordinary. What is this? Can I drink it? Leng Zishi stared at the golden liquid in the giant cauldron with wide eyes. Lin Feng said with a smile, Why don't you try it? Try the poison and see what effect it has. Leng Zishi immediately gritted her teeth. She looked at Lin Feng fiercely and said, I don't want to drink it. You big baddie, you only know how to bully me. After venting her anger, she ignored Lin Feng angrily. Lin Feng said, I was just joking with you. Why take it so seriously? I was wrong, okay? I apologize to you. Leng Zishi said. Since your apology is so sincere, this young miss is not such a petty person. I'll forgive you this time. Lin Feng could not help but laugh. Leng Zishi's personality was actually quite interesting. Although she would get angry sometimes, she was easy to coax. Moreover, Leng Zishi was definitely not someone who pestered endlessly. The demon lord said, I feel that this spirit liquid is a kind of spirit liquid that can temper the body or evolve the bloodline. Could it be that it can evolve the sovereign's emperor blood? You can try circulating your sovereign emperor's blood and see if it can sense the liquid. Lin Feng nodded and began to circulate his sovereign emperor's blood. When Lin Feng's sovereign emperor's blood began to circulate, something shocking happened. Lin Feng discovered that his sovereign emperor's blood began to stir. This kind of stir was exactly the same as when one was about to break through. Lin Feng's face lit up. This feeling was really too comfortable. Lin Feng knew that it was the golden liquid inside the giant cauldron. Just as the demon lord had said, the golden liquid could help his bloodline evolve. Seeing Lin Feng's joyful expression, the demon lord knew that the golden liquid could help Lin Feng's bloodline evolve again. The Demon Lord smiled and said, "You can refine the golden liquid and see if it can help you evolve. If the Sovereign Emperor's blood evolves a third time, it will definitely be extraordinary." Lin Feng nodded heavily. He was looking forward to seeing the Sovereign Emperor's blood evolve a third time. When the Sovereign Emperor's blood evolved a second time, Lin Feng had obtained great benefits. As for what benefits the third evolution would bring, Lin Feng did not know. He would know once the evolution was complete. The Demon Lord returned to the Demon Bead. He was the guiding light on Lin Feng's cultivation path, so Lin Feng was filled with gratitude towards the Demon Lord. Lin Feng looked at Ling Zishi and said, "I'll be in seclusion for a while. Wait for me outside." Although Ling Zishi usually liked to cause trouble, she knew when to advance and retreat. She was a person who knew right from wrong. She nodded and walked out of the stone room. Lin Feng jumped into the giant cauldron and began to circulate his Sovereign Emperor's blood. The first two awakenings of the Sovereign Emperor's blood had awakened offensive abilities. For example, during the first awakening, he had awakened the Sovereign's blade. The second awakening, he had awakened the Sovereign's blade. The Sovereign's blade within Lin Feng's Dantian was extremely powerful. It was one of Lin Feng's trump cards. In addition, the Sovereign's blade within Lin Feng's Dantian could sense the Sovereign's blade. It could communicate with the Sovereign's blade and borrow its power to fight. At this time, the Sovereign's blade within Lin Feng's Dantian would become much more powerful. In the future, he might be able to use the Sovereign's blade to find the Sovereign's blade. If he could do that, it would be a great opportunity. As the Sovereign Emperor's blood circulated, a large amount of spirit liquid was absorbed by Lin Feng's body. The spirit liquid was refined into the purest energy, which fused with Lin Feng's Sovereign Emperor's blood. Under the subtle influence of the special energy, the Sovereign Emperor's blood began to transform. Lin Feng was overjoyed. He could clearly feel the changes in his body, which made him extremely happy. Lin Feng spent 3 days to completely refine and absorb the spirit liquid. Lin Feng's Sovereign Emperor's blood finally completed its third transformation. When Lin Feng's Sovereign Emperor's blood completed its third transformation, a Tao Palace condensed within Lin Feng's Dantian. When he saw the Tao Palace, Lin Feng was stunned. He had thought of countless possibilities, but he hadn't thought that the Sovereign Emperor's blood would condense a Tao Palace within his Dantian. Lin Feng tried to use his divine sense to probe the Tao Palace. When Lin Feng's divine sense entered the Tao Palace, he immediately discovered that there was a world of darkness within the Tao Palace. This made Lin Feng even more confused. He didn't know why this was happening. "The Palace of the Holy Ji is already puzzling me. Why is the Palace of the Holy Ji pitch black?" Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Lin Feng planned to ask the Demon Lord if the Demon Lord knew the reason. "Demon Lord, my Sovereign Emperor's blood has completed its third awakening. A Tao Palace has appeared within my Dantian. This Tao Palace appeared after my Sovereign Emperor's blood's third awakening. I originally wanted to see what was so special about this Tao Palace, but when I entered, I discovered that the Tao Palace was pitch black. I couldn't see anything. Hurry up and take a look. What's going on?" Lin Feng transmitted his voice to the Demon Lord. After hearing Lin Feng's transmission, the Demon Lord disappeared from the demonic bead. In the next moment, the Demon Lord arrived in Lin Feng's Dantian and flew into the Tao Palace. Chapter 4991. Of course, the Demon Lord's voice did not escape Lin Feng's ears. What did the Demon Lord's exclamation mean? Did it mean anything? Did the Demon Lord know what was inside? Or did he know what was so special about this temple? Thinking of this, Lin Feng was overjoyed. If that was really the case, then that would be great. He would ask the Demon Lord about the temple later. The Demon Lord quickly flew out of the temple and returned to the Demon Orb. Lin Feng asked, "Demon Lord, did you see anything?" The Demon Lord was silent for a moment, then said, "Let nature take its course. Don't deliberately try to find out what is inside." This? Lin Feng frowned. What did the Demon Lord mean by this? Why did it feel like a warning to him? Or perhaps it was a kind reminder. The demon lord seemed to be afraid of something. What did he see in the temple? Logically speaking, that was a temple that appeared after his bloodline awakened. No matter what was inside, it shouldn't harm him, right? However, the demon lord's words made Lin Feng somewhat apprehensive, and he couldn't help but fall into deep thought. The demon lord's words were obviously hinting at something, but the demon lord didn't want to say it out loud. This was what made Lin Feng feel the most helpless. If the demon lord didn't want to say it, he couldn't force the demon lord to say it, right? Moreover, if the demon lord didn't want to say it, then no matter how much he asked, it was useless. Lin Feng said, "All right. I'll let nature take its course. I won't force this matter." "Good. Remember what you said. It's best if you keep it in your heart. Don't forget it," the demon lord reminded. Lin Feng nodded and said, "I will keep it in my heart." The demon lord's expression changed, and then he hid his body. Inside the demon orb, there were only lonely tombs. It seemed that the demon lord didn't want to communicate with him anymore. Maybe he was afraid that she would ask him about the Holy Ji Palace again. As such, was he hiding from him? Lin Feng had a lot of questions about the Holy Ji Palace, but if the demon lord didn't want to talk about it, Lin Feng wouldn't ask. Just like what the demon lord had said, letting nature take its course might be the best choice. Whoosh! Lin Feng took out the evil corpse ring. Now that Lin Feng had broken through to the 6th heavenly layer of the human immortal stage, he could naturally try to break the seals on the evil corpse ring. Previously, Lin Feng had been quite busy, so he didn't have time to open the evil corpse ring. But now, he had the time to do so. There were 9 types of fierce beast runes in the evil corpse ring, and 8 of them had been successfully broken by Lin Feng. These 8 fierce beast runes that Lin Feng had successfully broken were the Sky-Splitting Centipede, Scarlet Flame Golden Centipede, Ice-Armored Horn Demon Dragon, 8-Clawed Fire Centipede, 9-Winged Sky Dragon, Thunderbat Dragon, Blue-Winged Sea Dragon, and Sea-Splitting Mysterious Dragon Whale. The Kuei Cow Fierce Beast rune had not been broken by Lin Feng yet. Lin Feng had spent so much time breaking the seal on the evil corpse ring, so he naturally wanted to know what good things were in the evil corpse ring. Presumably, the good things in the evil corpse ring must be incomparably heaven-defying, right? Lin Feng began to break the evil corpse ring's 9th fierce beast rune. The 9th fierce beast rune was also very complicated, but it wasn't able to stump Lin Feng. Following Lin Feng's breakthrough, his understanding of the Celestial Master Path's inheritance and Grand Tao had also deepened. So, in the end, Lin Feng had successfully broken the Kuei Cow Fierce Beast rune. Lin Feng revealed a joyful expression. The evil corpse ring had finally been opened. He could finally know what was in the evil corpse ring. Perhaps he could even find out what kind of person the evil corpse was when it was alive. Lin Feng's divine sense invaded the evil corpse ring. Lin Feng discovered that the evil corpse ring had formed a small world of its own. This made Lin Feng pleasantly surprised. What an awesome evil corpse ring, ah! It was even a grade higher than a space of its own. Refining a storage ring into an independent small world was not an easy matter. Lin Feng's divine sense moved, and he disappeared from his original spot. In the next moment, he had already arrived in that small world. The aura within that small world was extremely ancient. An ancient forest was densely packed. Lin Feng flew towards the depths of the small world. Not long after, he saw tombs one after another. What's going on? Why are there so many tombs in this small world? Lin Feng revealed a shocked expression. Originally, he thought that there would be many amazing things in this small world, and even treasures. However, after entering, he found so many tombs. This really made Lin Feng speechless. He did not know who had built these tombs. Could it be that the evil corpse had built these tombs when it was alive? Whoa! At this moment, a cold wind howled. Horrifying yin qi permeated the entire area. Rumble! 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 The tombs began to shake violently. As the tombs shook, clouds of yin qi spread out from the tombs. The yin qi seemed to cover the sky. After feeling the aura emitted from the yin qi, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. What a terrifying Yin Qi. The Yin Qi. What was going on? The next moment, Lin Feng knew what was going on. Suddenly, Yin soldiers began to emerge from the Yin energy. As far as the eye could see, the densely packed nether soldiers were innumerable. Those Yin soldiers completely surrounded Lin Feng. Damn, the evil corpse ring is the nest of the Yin soldier army. Lin Feng's face suddenly changed. Without thinking, he hurriedly rushed out. However, the Yin Qi was too terrifying. The Yin Qi actually sealed the evil corpse ring. Lin Feng was bounced back. I can't get out. Lin Feng's face turned pale. Around him, the densely packed Yin soldier army was constantly moving towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng even had the heart to cry. Due to the undying nature of the Yin soldier army, it was definitely one of the most terrifying armies in the myriad heavens world. However, according to Lin Feng's knowledge, shouldn't the Yin soldier army be in the underworld? For example, King Yeluo had joined the Yin soldier army. But what was the situation with the Yin soldier army that appeared in front of him? They were not in the underworld, but instead appeared in the evil corpse ring. Everyone, don't be rash. Impulsiveness is the devil. Lin Feng saw the unfriendly expressions of the Yin soldier army and hurriedly shouted. However, the Yin soldier army did not have any intention of stopping. Lin Feng took out all the Buddhist magic treasures he had obtained, such as the ancient Buddha skeleton, the Buddhist robe, and other Buddhist treasures. But even so, it was still unable to scare away the Yin soldiers. Chapter 4992. Shit, this doesn't look good. Will I be killed by the army of Yin soldiers? Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes when he saw the army of ghost soldiers approaching. The army of Yin soldiers was terrifying. They were emitting a terrifying aura that could make one's heart palpitate. He was afraid that he would be in danger. Lin Feng was very clear about this. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel troubled. He had to be careful in dealing with this situation. Otherwise, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. However, the Buddhist weapons couldn't deter these guys. This made Lin Feng somewhat depressed. If even the Buddhist weapons couldn't deter the army of Yin soldiers, how could he deal with them? Lin Feng didn't have much time to think about this matter. He had to find a solution in a very short time. Otherwise, it would be a real tragedy. Suddenly, Lin Feng thought of something. He remembered that when Lin Feng was in Starry Sky Ancient City, the mysterious iron box had caused great damage to the evil corpse. This ring was also the evil corpse's ring. He wondered if the mysterious iron box could have a good effect. When Lin Feng thought about that, he hastily took out the mysterious box. When Lin Feng took out the mysterious iron box, the leading Yin emperor waved his hand and the approaching army of Yin soldiers suddenly stopped. The Yin emperor wore a crown on his head and held a battle sword in his hand. His expression was ice cold, giving off a feeling of prestige without being angry. If anyone dared to provoke the Yin emperor, they wouldn't have a good ending. However, the Yin emperor's pair of cold eyes were looking at the mysterious iron box in Lin Feng's hand. The Yin emperor fell into deep thought. Lin Feng was very nervous and worried. No matter how strong a person was, it was impossible to fight against an army of thousands of men and horses. Not to mention this army of Yin soldiers. These existences were close to immortality. They possessed unimaginable power. Lin Feng was very clear that it wouldn't be easy to fight against these existences and escape. The best way was to negotiate with these Yin soldiers. Who are you? Yin Emperor looked at Lin Feng and asked. Lin Feng, descendant of the sovereign emperor. Oh? A descendant of a sovereign's clan? Why are you here? Yin Emperor asked. I was the one who opened the restriction on the evil corpse ring and entered this place, Lin Feng said. Are you the one who opened the ring? Yin Emperor looked at Lin Feng in surprise. Lin Feng asked. Is there something wrong? Where's the evil ancestor? Yin Emperor asked. Evil ancestor, who is he? Lin Feng asked in return. In fact, Lin Feng guessed that the evil corpse was the evil ancestor, But he didn't say anything about it because Lin Feng didn't know the relationship between the evil corpse and these guys. If they were enemies. Lin Feng told them that the evil corpses were killed by him, so these people were naturally very happy. Perhaps he might even establish a deep friendship with her. But what if these people were enemies with the evil corpse? If he told them that the evil corpse was killed by him, it would be tragic. The best way to deal with this was to pretend that he didn't know anything. You don't know who the evil ancestor is? Then how did you get the evil ancestor's ring? Yin Emperor asked. Is this ring called the evil ancestor's ring? I really don't know what it's called. I got it from an ancient city in the starry sky world, Lin Feng said. You got it from an ancient city? Yin Emperor's face was filled with astonishment. Clearly, he had some doubts about Lin Feng's words. Yes, I got it from an ancient city. At that time, many people came to that ancient city and fought over the treasures there. I was lucky enough to get this storage ring, Lin Feng said. Since he had already told this lie, he had no choice. He had to continue lying. Yin Emperor frowned slightly. No one knew what he was thinking. Lin Feng hurriedly said, Sir, you haven't said who the evil ancestor is. The evil ancestor is the incarnation of the evil path, Yin Emperor said. Incarnation of the evil path? What do you mean? Lin Feng asked. There are 3,000 great Taoists in the world, and each of these 3,000 great Taoists can give birth to life. The evil ancestor was born in this way. The evil ancestor was born from the great Taoists and turned into a true life form. Later on, he even gave birth to flesh and blood, creating a perfect body. The history of the evil ancestor is even older than the history of the evil god, Yin Emperor said. Lin Feng already knew what kind of existence the evil ancestor was. He was the incarnation of the great Taoists. It was impossible to imagine how powerful such an existence was. Lin Feng guessed that such an existence should be extremely rare even in the long history of the great Taoists. Therefore, the so-called evil ancestor was definitely an unimaginable existence. Is there any grudge between you and the evil ancestor? Lin Feng asked. There's no grudge. Yin Emperor squinted his eyes. Yin Emperor narrowed his eyes and said, In the past, when we died in battle, the evil ancestor collected our corpses and buried them in the evil corpse ring that he created. We died very miserably when we were alive, so our resentment didn't disappear. After the evil ancestor buried our corpses together, our yin qi and resentment fused together, which might allow us to transform into an army of ghost soldiers. At the same time, the evil ancestor could absorb the powerful yin qi and resentment to enhance his cultivation base. Is this killing two birds with one stone for you? Lin Feng asked. Yin Emperor sneered. We don't want to become ghost soldiers. Death is death. Why would we want to become ghost soldiers and never be reincarnated? The Yin sovereign's words made sense. The Yin soldiers were a group of cursed living beings. These living beings would suffer endless pain and torture in the future. However, after turning into Yin soldiers, they couldn't die. They could only endure the pain silently. Yin Emperor continued, Actually, we should thank the evil ancestors since we're already in the apocalypse. What do you mean? Lin Feng looked at Yin Emperor in astonishment. He just said that he didn't want to become ghost soldiers, and now he said that he wanted to thank the evil ancestor. Was he treating his words as a joke? Chapter 4993. Speaking of this, Emperor Yin's eyes were filled with hope. He hoped that this day would come. The rest of the Yin soldiers naturally hoped that this day would come. No one was willing to become a Yin soldier. Especially after becoming a Yin soldier, only then did they know how comfortable it was to be a normal person. Who would want to die if they could live? It was the same for them. If they could live, they wouldn't want to die. Now, they saw the hope of returning from the calamity. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter in his heart. Luckily, he didn't mention that he was the one who killed the evil corpse. Otherwise, these guys might take revenge for the evil corpse. Thinking of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but shiver. Luckily, he was vigilant. Otherwise, it would be too dangerous. You guys will definitely be able to return from the calamity, Lin Feng said with a grin. Thank you for your auspicious words, Emperorine said. Obviously, Emperorine wanted to kill Lin Feng at the very beginning. However, after seeing the mysterious iron box in Lin Feng's hand, Emperorine changed his attitude. Lin Feng felt that he could use this opportunity to deepen his relationship with Emperorine. Especially, Emperorine controlled the Yin's soldier army. If he could cooperate with Emperorine, it would be a great help to him. Thinking of this, Lin Feng said, Emperorine! I've already opened the seal. You guys can go out now. What are your plans in the future? At this moment, Lin Feng deliberately repeated the matter of him opening the seal. He wanted to remind Emperorine and the others that he was the one who opened the seal of the evil corpse's ring. He was someone who had helped them. Don't forget, Emperorine said. We plan to go to the underworld, Lin Feng said. The underworld is very chaotic now. If you guys go to the underworld, you'll probably be recruited by many forces. At that time, no matter which force you join, you'll be restricted by others. It's too boring. Why don't you continue to cultivate in this small world? I'm the descendant of the sovereign emperor clan, and my father is the one who inherited the fate of this era. After I was born, my father's fate transferred to me. Now, I'm also the one who inherited the fate of this era. So, if you guys continue to stay here and be cleansed by my powerful fate, your fate will become stronger and stronger. Luck is very important to a cultivator's cultivation. Since you've turned into an army of ghost soldiers, your luck has basically been used up. It's good enough that your luck isn't in the negative. If you don't even have luck, how can you survive to the next epoch? How can you talk about reincarnating your tribulations? You're all experts who have experienced many storms, so I'm sure you can understand what I'm saying. You should also know if my words make sense or not. Emperorine frowned after hearing Lin Feng's words. He understood that Lin Feng's words made sense, but he also knew that there was no free lunch in this world. He narrowed his eyes and looked at Lin Feng. Then what do you want us to do? Lin Feng smiled. If I ask you for help, you'll have to help me. Emperorine frowned. This wasn't something he wanted to do. As the saying goes, humans and ghosts walk different paths. The Yin soldier army was a ghost, while Lin Feng was a human. In a situation where they were separated by yin and yang, it wasn't necessarily a good thing to have too much involvement. Lin Feng said, I know what you're worried about, Emperorine. Don't worry, under normal circumstances, I won't disturb you. I'll only summon you at critical moments. All right. Then it's a deal. Remember what you said. If you don't summon us, then try your best not to summon us, Emperorine said. Of course, I'll keep this in mind. Lin Feng nodded. Emperorine nodded and led the Yin soldier army to retreat quickly. Not long after, the Yin soldier army entered their respective tombs. Lin Feng's face lit up with joy. Being able to cooperate with the Yin soldier army was quite a good thing. Lin Feng's mood suddenly became very good. Lin Feng flew out of the evil corpse ring and put it on his finger. This way, he could get in touch with Emperor Yin at any time. Then, Lin Feng entered the Divine Tao Immortal Palace. Previously, Lin Feng opened the second seal of the Divine Tao Immortal Palace and entered the second palace. In the second palace, Lin Feng obtained a blood-stained stone. The blood on the stone and the stone came from the mysterious iron box. Those immortal stones had been absorbed by the mysterious iron box. Of course, to be precise, they were absorbed by the dismembered corpse inside the mysterious iron box. Although Lin Feng didn't know the origin of the dismembered corpse, Lin Feng knew that the dismembered corpse was an unimaginably terrifying existence when it was alive. Now Lin Feng planned to open the third palace. But he didn't know what was inside the third palace. Would there be something from the dismembered corpse? Compared to other treasures, Lin Feng hoped to collect something from the dismembered corpse because it could make the corpse more powerful. Lin Feng had the dismembered corpse for a long time. In the beginning, he was worried that the dismembered corpse would have an adverse effect on him. But after so many years, the dismembered corpse didn't have any adverse effect on him. On the contrary, it saved Lin Feng's life in many critical moments. Because of this, Lin Feng was less worried about the dismembered corpse. Therefore, Lin Feng planned to make the dismembered corpse as powerful as possible. Lin Feng began to break the third palace's seal. Time passed. The seal was gradually broken. Lin Feng's face also revealed a smile. After spending about 5 days, the seal was finally completely broken by Lin Feng. When Lin Feng broke the seal, Lin Feng's face revealed a joyful expression. He had finally broken the seal of the third palace. What was there in the third palace? Lin Feng pushed open the third palace. He walked into the third palace. After entering the third palace, Lin Feng suddenly felt a piece of bone in his chest emitting violent waves. Saint bone! Lin Feng was shocked. Back then, Lin Feng had refined 2 pieces of bone into his body. One was the saint bone, and the other was the white tiger origin bone. The white tiger origin bone helped Lin Feng comprehend the white bone domineering aura. Chapter 4994. Now, the sacred bone was emitting waves. What was going on? Lin Feng was puzzled. Could it be that the opportunity here had something to do with the sacred bone? Lin Feng looked into the depths of the hall. He suddenly saw that there was a ball of holy light in the depths of the hall. It was unclear what was wrapped in that ball of holy light. The sacred bone's strange movements seemed to have a lot to do with what was inside the ball of holy light. Lin Feng could not help but look happy. He quickly walked towards that ball of holy light. In fact, Lin Feng knew how powerful the sacred bone was. However, Lin Feng rarely used the sacred bone to fight. One reason was because he had other means to deal with his enemies. 2. The sacred bone had fused with Lin Feng's chest. Using the sacred bone would expose this trump card. When that happened, many enemies would target Lin Feng's chest. Naturally, this was not a situation that Lin Feng wanted to see happen. Therefore, Lin Feng rarely used the sacred bone to fight. 3. The power of the sacred bone was not easy to use. Therefore, these were the factors that limited Lin Feng from using the sacred bone. However, if he encountered an extremely dangerous situation, Lin Feng would still use the sacred bone. Soon, he came in front of that dazzling ball of holy light. There was a transparent crystal in that ball of holy light. After seeing that crystal, Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. He took the crystal in his hand. Suddenly, beams of holy light gushed out from the sacred bone. The holy light completely fused with the crystal in Lin Feng's hand. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng could not help but look extremely shocked. It seemed that the sacred bone had a very special reaction to the crystal in front of him. This is... Lin Feng was surprised. After the crystal absorbed the holy light, it began to decompose. It did not take long for it to decompose into dense runes. Every rune contained incomparably pure energy. After feeling that pure energy, Lin Feng's face was immediately filled with shock. He had guessed something, and now he only needed to verify it to know if his guess was true. Not long after, the crystal had completely decomposed into mysterious runes. One rune after another. They all fused into Lin Feng's body. Then, those runes drilled into the sacred bone. Lin Feng felt the sacred bone in his chest begin to heat up. His chest was getting hotter and hotter. Lin Feng did not know what this change was, but Lin Feng knew that it was definitely a good thing. About 2 hours later, the saint bone in his chest started to recover, and the scorching temperature started to decrease. It didn't take long for the saint bone to completely recover. Lin Feng tried to communicate with the sacred bone in his chest. Lin Feng easily communicated with the sacred bone in his chest. Lin Feng discovered that the interior of the sacred bone was like a huge world. That world contained endless majestic energy. That majestic energy was stored in that world. When Lin Feng tried to guide that majestic energy out, that majestic energy really quickly surged out of the world formed by the sacred bone. It endlessly supported Lin Feng. With the support of that majestic energy, Lin Feng's battle strength rose steadily. Previously, Lin Feng could only try to activate the sacred bone and let it release some powerful attacks. However, he could not use the power of the sacred bone for his own use. This time, after the sacred bone absorbed those runes, Lin Feng could actually guide the power of the sacred bone into his body, and use it for his own use. This was a huge transformation. In this way, Lin Feng could not only borrow the power of the magic lotus, the Dominator's armor, the golden dwarf, and out-of-body incarnation, but also the power of the sacred bone. This feels great. If I borrow the power of the sacred bone, my battle strength will increase. Once again, it will greatly increase. Lin Feng grinned. Who would complain about being strong? If they did, they would only complain that they were not strong enough. Lin Feng flew out of the Divine Dao Immortal Palace. He had gained a lot from this trip to the heaven-devouring secret realm. His sovereign bloodline had completed its third transformation, and he had obtained one of the most powerful treasures of the sovereign clan, the epic war spear. Now, the sacred bone had also undergone a miraculous transformation. He could now use the power of the sacred bone for his own use. This was a very satisfying thing. Lin Feng walked out of the stone room. When she saw Lin Feng, Leng Zishi hurriedly called out, "Lin Feng, I found a teleportation formation. I don't know if it can teleport us out." "Oh? Teleportation formation? Where is it?" Lin Feng asked curiously. If they went out now, they would definitely be surrounded by a large group of experts. Lin Feng was very clear about this. If they were surrounded by those experts, it was hard to say what would happen. Therefore, leaving by teleportation formation was the best choice. "It's over here." Leng Zishi led Lin Feng to the stone room where the teleportation formation was. Lin Feng followed Leng Zishi to the stone room where the heaven-devouring evil emperor had rested. The teleportation formation was actually under the stone bed. The bed had been moved away by Leng Zishi. In fact, Leng Zishi had discovered this secret teleportation formation because she had been very bored while Lin Feng had been in seclusion. She had almost turned the entire cave upside down to see if there were any treasures left behind. She had not found any treasures, but she had found a teleportation formation. Lin Feng observed for a moment, and found that the teleportation formation was not destroyed. This made Lin Feng happy. It was good that the teleportation formation was not destroyed. This way, it could be activated. Lin Feng formed a series of seals and sent them into the teleportation formation. Soon, the teleportation formation was activated. Lin Feng and Leng Zishi stepped onto the teleportation formation. Buzz! There was a flash of light. Lin Feng and Leng Zishi disappeared from the cave. When they came out, they found themselves in an ancient forest. Not far away, more than a dozen monks were flying quickly. These monks were not targeting Lin Feng and Leng Zishi. They glanced at Lin Feng and Leng Zishi and did not pay much attention to the two young cultivators. The monks did not stop and quickly flew into the depths of the forest. Chapter 4995. Lin Feng nodded and said, "It is indeed the heaven-devouring mystery realm, but there's no need for us to stay here any longer. Let's leave now." "All right. Let's go then." Leng Zishi nodded and asked, "Where are we going now?" "The ancient demon domain," Lin Feng said. "Wow, the ancient demon domain! A domain ruled by demons! I've wanted to go there for a long time." Hearing that they were going to the ancient demon domain, Leng Zishi cried out in excitement. The reason why they were going to the ancient demon domain was because they would pass by the White Bone region on their way back to the Sin domain. Part of the White Bone region was adjacent to the ancient demon domain, so they could visit some old friends in the ancient demon domain. The Fire Qilin, the Peacock King, the Great Rock King, the Little Rock King, Feng Yaorao, Princess Shui Yao, Little Yu, and many others. These people were Lin Feng's true friends. They were also the people closest to Lin Feng. Lin Feng had always wanted to visit them, but he never had the chance. Now, he finally had the chance. The three-headed viper flew quickly above the lake as Lin Feng rested on Leng Zishi's soft and slender thighs. What a relaxing day, smelling the pleasant fragrance on Leng Zishi's body. What a pleasant life. In the depths of the Inferno Island, rolling black fog covered the sky. My lord, the seal has cracked. I'm afraid the seal won't be able to suppress that terrifying existence anymore. The elder in charge of strengthening the seal came to Yun Zhongtian and said in a terrified voice, Damn it! Damn it! Who broke the seal? I found out who it was. I must tear him to pieces! Yun Zhongtian roared in anger. But Yun Zhongtian knew that it was not the time to be angry. The most important thing now was to quickly strengthen the seal. If that terrifying existence came out, the consequences would be unimaginable. It would not be too late to look for the traitor after the seal was strengthened. I'll go take a look myself, Yun Zhongtian said in a low voice. The group of people quickly flew towards the seal under Yun Zhongtian's lead. But before they could even reach the seal's location, a sinister cackle sounded out from deep within and a large amount of demonic fog rolled about as the demonic fog quickly surged outwards. Run! My lord, save me! Many cultivators screamed in horror. They quickly ran out from the depths, but the rolling devil fog was too fast. It swallowed those cultivators in an instant. All the cultivators who were swallowed by the devil fog died tragically in the devil fog. Damn it, let's go stop that guy. Old Shui, you go help evacuate the residents on the island, Yun Zhongtian said solemnly. Upon the island, there were also the clansmen of the people from Cloud Heaven, their loved ones and others. In total, there were more than 1 million people. Yun Zhongtian knew that it was no longer realistic for him to want to completely evacuate all these people. The destruction of the barrier was just too sudden, and it had caught Yun Zhongtian completely off guard. Although Yun Zhongtian had immediately ordered his subordinates to evacuate the residents of the island, it had only been 2 hours since then. How many people could be evacuated in that amount of time? Now that that terrifying existence had appeared, they did not have much time left. No one will be able to escape. But just as Yun Zhongtian's voice fell, a sinister and terrifying voice rang out from within the demonic fog. Following that, the demonic fog that covered the skies quickly surged outwards, surrounding the entire fiery flame island. Arg! Pitiful screams rang out from all over the fiery flame island. It was obvious that many people had already died within the demonic fog. 50 miles away from the sea, Leng Zishi patted Lin Feng and said, Quick, look! The demonic fog has covered the skies over there. I wonder what's going on. Hearing that, Lin Feng got up and looked into the distance. When he saw the demonic fog that covered the skies, Lin Feng could not help but frown. You wait here. I'll go have a look, Lin Feng said. He then shot up into the sky and quickly flew towards the demonic fog. I want to go too, Leng Zishi immediately cried out. She was a very active person, and if one wanted her to stay put, it would be harder than ascending to the heavens. Hence, after Lin Feng flew towards the area where the demonic fog covered the skies, Leng Zishi quickly flew towards that area as well. Within the demonic fog, it exuded a sinister and terrifying aura. A monster with a human body but an octopus head stood within the demonic fog and let out a sinister laugh. Large tentacles stretched out from its head and lashed out at the cultivators one by one. Asterisk bam bam bam. Asterisk any cultivator who was lashed out by the monster would have their bones broken if they were lucky. If they were severely injured, they would immediately die. That monster was just too terrifying. I'll fight you to the death. Seeing his loyal subordinates being severely injured or even killed one by one, Yun Zhongtian's eyes turned blood red. He roared out loud and quickly charged towards the monster. An ant-like thing actually dares to resist? What a joke! The monster let out a disdainful snort, and a large tentacle lashed out at Yun Zhongtian. Yun Zhongtian swung the sword in his hand at the tentacle, but when the sword came into contact with the tentacle was covered with runes and his attack was immediately neutralized by the runes. Then, the tentacle sent Yun Zhongtian flying with a swipe of its own. Crack! Crack! The sound of bones breaking rang out, and it was not known just how many of Yun Zhongtian's bones had been broken. Yun Zhongtian's body was sent flying and his face was as white as a sheet. It was at that moment that the tentacle quickly flew over and wrapped itself around Yun Zhongtian. He, I'm going to eat you. The monster let out a sinister laugh and the tentacle quickly retracted back after it had wrapped itself around Yun Zhongtian. That terrifying monster wanted to eat Yun Zhongtian alive. My lord! Many of the cultivators roared out in rage and quickly charged towards the monster, wanting to save Yun Zhongtian. Screech! Suddenly, the monster let out a piercing cry and many of the cultivators covered their ears before they cried out in pain. That monster's attack was just too terrifying and it had hurt their very souls. Yun Zhongtian struggled endlessly but he was unable to break free. Yun Zhongtian's face then showed a bitter smile. It looks like today he would not be able to escape death. The monster had already opened its gaping maw, wanting to devour Yun Zhongtian, but it was at that moment that a burst of sword chi came slashing down from the heavens. PFFTT. Chapter 4996. Young Master Ji. When he saw the person who had appeared, Yun Zhongtian was pleasantly surprised. It was none other than Lin Feng. Yun Zhongtian had thought that he was going to die, but he did not expect to be saved by Lin Feng. Are you all right? Lin Feng asked. I'm fine. Young Master Ji, be careful of this monster. This is the octopus demon of the Western universe. In the past, this fellow ran to the Eastern universe and caused a great massacre. It devoured over 100 planets with life, and the number of casualties reached into the trillions. Back then, in order to suppress this octopus demon, countless experts died. Yun Zhongtian reminded him. A being from the Western universe? Hearing this, Lin Feng looked extremely surprised. In this era, the endless starry skies were divided into the Eastern and Western universes. This was also compatible with the great Tao of heaven and earth, where yin and yang were opposites. The plane where the three supreme realms were located, as well as all the worlds under it, belonged to the Eastern universe. The other Western universe was more mysterious, and Lin Feng did not know much about that world. However, Lin Feng had heard of existences such as Allah and God, who were the top experts of the Western universe. He hadn't thought he'd see a cultivator from the Western world in such a place. Lin Feng was overjoyed. If he could capture this fellow, he would be able to find out many things about the Western universe from him. Here comes another one who has come to die. I can feel how powerful the blood in your body is. If I eat you, it will definitely play an important role in restoring my cultivation base. The giant octopus troll let out a sinister laugh. Previously, its tentacle had been cut off by Lin Feng, but now it had recovered. Seeing that the octopus demon had recovered, Lin Feng could not help but look extremely shocked. This speed of recovery was a little too abnormal, and it was truly shocking. However, to Lin Feng, this was nothing. At this moment, Leng Zishi flew over. She looked at the octopus demon and said, Wow, it's a big octopus monster. After killing it, we can roast it. Didn't you say that you're good at roasting meat? But I don't want to eat roasted meat. I prefer seafood. Seafood? The corner of the octopus demon's mouth twitched violently. He was a terrifying existence, but now, in the eyes of others, he had become seafood, food. This made the octopus demon very angry. Now, the octopus demon wanted nothing more than to cut Leng Zishi into pieces. He coldly looked at Leng Zishi and said, Lowly ant, you will die a miserable death later. I guarantee that before you die, I will let you taste endless pain. Seafood, don't talk. Leng Zishi waved her hand at the octopus demon, then directly ignored it. She looked at Lin Feng and pulled Lin Feng's hand, swinging it back and forth. Okay, let's make a seafood feast later. Lin Feng nodded and said, Of course, no problem. I think that the octopus tentacles should taste good. Why don't we make a teppanyaki octopus? I ate it when I was young, and the taste is still unforgettable. I don't know if I can recreate the taste of my childhood. Okay, I want to eat teppanyaki octopus. I haven't eaten teppanyaki octopus before. Lin Zishi was immediately delighted. Yun Zhongtian, who was at the side, could not help but smile bitterly. In the face of a great enemy, Lin Feng and the goddess before him were actually discussing how to eat the octopus demon later. They really did not see the octopus demon as a threat. However, when he thought of Lin Feng's powerful strength, Yun Zhongtian felt that Lin Feng's arrogance naturally had the right to do so. Go to hell, all of you. The octopus demon roared angrily, and its tentacles quickly lashed out at Lin Feng and Ling Zishi. There were dozens of tentacles densely packed together, and each tentacle contained terrifying power. Slash! Shouted Lin Feng in a deep voice. Immediately after, 5 stone swords appeared in his hand. Then, under Lin Feng's control, the 5 stone swords quickly moved towards the tentacles. The power of the 5 stone swords was naturally terrifying, and Lin Feng's cultivation had improved greatly, so the power of the 5 stone swords was now many times stronger than before. Under Lin Feng's control, the 5 stone swords displayed their might, cutting off all the tentacles. Then, the 5 stone swords quickly slashed at the octopus demon. Damn it! You lowly ant, you've completely infuriated me. I'll make sure you die a horrible death. The octopus demon roared angrily. The tentacles that had been cut off quickly recovered. This guy seemed to have the ability to live forever, and even after receiving such great damage, he was still able to recover in such a short period of time. It was really too abnormal. At this moment, a demonic saber appeared in the octopus demon's hand. This demonic saber was called the Blackhead Demon Saber, and it emitted a sinister and terrifying aura. With a light sweep of the saber, a ghostly aura filled the air, covering the sky. With a slash of the saber, it seemed to be able to shatter the heavens and destroy the earth. The octopus demon wielded the Blackhead Demon Saber and swept it towards Lin Feng's 5 stone swords. Clang, 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 a series of violent collisions rang out. Lin Feng's 5 stone swords were swept away. The octopus demon wielded the Blackhead Demon Saber and walked towards Lin Feng, looking at Lin Feng with disdain. His eyes were filled with disdain. The octopus demon looked at Lin Feng with disdain and said, "Brat, do you think you can be arrogant in front of me just because you have a bit of strength? How laughable. Even if I can't even display 1/10,000th of my peak strength, dealing with you is as easy as flipping my hand." The octopus demon was extremely arrogant. Of course, Lin Feng didn't think that this guy was bragging. The octopus demon had been imprisoned for so many years, but he was still so powerful. This was enough to show how terrifying he was back then. Lin Feng guessed that those experts back then also wanted to kill the octopus demon, but he was too powerful. Therefore, those experts couldn't kill him, and the octopus demon has lived until now. Lin Feng sneered as he looked at the octopus demon. This guy was indeed very powerful, but the current Lin Feng was no longer the same as before. Lin Feng sneered and said, "The ignorant are truly fearless. Are you still living in your dreams? Today, I'll let you know my power." Lin Feng put away the 5 stone swords. Chapter 4997. Lin Feng held the epical war spear in his hand. He felt an extremely close connection with the epical war spear. The epical war spear was like his arm, his legs, his nose, his eyes, and an extension of his body. This feeling was incomparably wondrous and comfortable. Lin Feng knew that he could only activate a small portion of the epical war spear's power. However, Lin Feng felt that a powerful artifact like the epical war spear, even if he could only activate a small portion of its power, it would still be terrifying enough. This was a supreme artifact that could contend with ancient weapons. It was a supreme artifact forged by the Sovereign Emperor clan's progenitor. "Kid, taste my true demonic 4 blades." At this moment, the octopus demon suddenly roared. He held the tortoise saber in his hand and charged towards Lin Feng. In midair, the octopus demon slashed out 3 times in a row. 1 blade slays all ghosts. 2 blades slays all gods. 3 blades shatter the firmament. 4 blades shatter the universe. The power of the octopus demon's 4 blades was truly terrifying. Lin Feng felt a sense of solemnity. Although this guy had been suppressed for countless years, his battle strength was still formidable. Moreover, he had mastered many powerful techniques. Now that he was displaying them, it was naturally terrifying. However, Lin Feng didn't fear this guy at all. Facing the octopus demon's true demonic 4 blades, Lin Feng stabbed out with his spear. Lin Feng wasn't proficient in spear arts. He was proficient in the 3,000 great das and various powerful attacks. He was also proficient in some supreme techniques recorded in ancient immortal scriptures. However, so what if he wasn't proficient in powerful spear arts? Lin Feng's magic power was abundant. Although he wasn't proficient in powerful spear arts, he could still display the power of the epical war spear. Lin Feng swept his spear towards his opponent. This was a very common martial art move, total annihilation. Generally speaking, after cultivating to such a high level, they rarely use the moves of martial arts. However, from another perspective, if one was strong enough, even if it was just a move that an ordinary warrior would use, one could still explode with unimaginable combat power. If he was not strong enough, he would not be able to unleash the full power of this ability even if he used the most powerful ability. Therefore, when Lin Feng used total annihilation, it still burst out with an extremely powerful force. Clang! Lin Feng's epic war spear and the demon octopus's black head ghost blade collided violently. Sparks flew everywhere as the two weapons collided, and a destructive shockwave spread out in all directions. Lin Feng's epic war spear and the demon octopus's black head ghost blade collided. Although the giant octopus demon used a very powerful knife skill, it was still resolved by Lin Feng. How is this possible? The giant octopus troll demon exclaimed in disbelief. The knife skill he used was one of his trump cards, but it was easily resolved by Lin Feng. The giant octopus troll demon naturally couldn't accept this. The giant octopus troll demon's eyes became extremely gloomy. Before, he was full of contempt for Lin Feng, but now he knew that he had underestimated Lin Feng. You dare to brag with just this little ability? What a joke! Giant octopus, if this is all you have, then you will die at the hands of your little grandpa. Lin Feng looked at the giant octopus troll demon with contempt. Lin Feng indeed had the qualifications to say such words. This was because Lin Feng's previous attack was only a probing attack. After all, this was the first time Lin Feng used the epic war spear in a real battle. The power of the epic war spear was much stronger than Lin Feng had imagined. This made Lin Feng very happy. The only thing that made Lin Feng depressed was that the epic war spear consumed too much of his FA Li. With Lin Feng's current FA Li reserves, he couldn't use the epic war spear for a long time. Of course, Lin Feng already knew this, so he was already mentally prepared. Eat my saber again! The giant octopus troll demon's face was very gloomy. He shouted coldly and leaped up. He became one with the saber and slashed towards Lin Feng. The giant octopus troll demon suffered a small loss in the previous collision, but he didn't think that he would lose to Lin Feng. He still had some powerful moves that he hadn't used yet. Moreover, the giant octopus troll demon was an incomparably arrogant existence. How could he admit that he lost to Lin Feng? For him, this was absolutely unacceptable. It was simply a great humiliation. Therefore, the giant octopus troll demon was incomparably angry. He wanted to kill Lin Feng to vent his anger. This time, the giant octopus troll demon used an even more powerful attack. This attack was called the God-slaying saber technique. It was an incomparably tyrannical saber technique. The highest realm was the realm of one with the saber. Although the giant octopus devil's realm had fallen, his understanding of the divine ability didn't decrease. His understanding of the divine ability was still profound and unfathomable. Therefore, the octopus demon's attack was extremely powerful. Lin Feng could sense how terrifying that attack was. A sneer appeared on Lin Feng's face. Lin Feng's FA Li continuously poured into the epic war spear. The power of the epic war spear continued to increase. One spear to decide the universe. Lin Feng couldn't help but shout as he thrusted his spear forward. Although Lin Feng wasn't proficient in spear techniques, he was actually quite proficient in them. In fact, Lin Feng also cultivated several spear techniques. For example, the Purgatory Spear art needed to be used together with the Purgatory Demon Spear in order to display the power of the Purgatory Spear art. This spear to decide the universe was a spear technique recorded in the 9 Cosmos Spears. Lin Feng wasn't particularly familiar with this spear technique. In the past, he only cultivated it when he had nothing to do. Lin Feng wasn't proficient in several spear techniques. Lin Feng didn't cultivate many spear techniques, so Lin Feng wasn't very proficient in them. However, when Lin Feng used the Epic War Spear to display this spear technique, it still erupted with a terrifying power. This was mainly because the Epic War Spear was too powerful. Clang! A second collision occurred. Lin Feng's Epic War Spear and the giant octopus troll demon saber clashed for the second time. This time, the power of the Epic War Spear was revealed. Chapter 4998. The power of Lin Feng's spear was too terrifying. Even Lin Feng himself was shocked. Lin Feng's attack didn't slow down. He stabbed the Epic War Spear towards the octopus demon's chest. The octopus demon was shocked. He didn't expect this result. His blackhead ghost blade was so powerful, but it couldn't block Lin Feng's war spear. He couldn't imagine how powerful Lin Feng's war spear was. The octopus demon quickly retreated. He wanted to avoid Lin Feng's attack and escape. Lin Feng was too powerful. The octopus demon didn't want to continue fighting with Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng didn't give him the chance. With a tearing sound, Lin Feng's spear pierced through the octopus demon's chest. The octopus demon looked down at the Epic War Spear that pierced through his chest. He sneered and said, "Boy, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. However, this king has an immortal body. You can't kill this king." After the octopus demon's voice fell, the tentacles on his face began to grow. They wrapped around Lin Feng, wanting to wrap around Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng sneered and gently slashed with his other hand. In an instant, the octopus demon's tentacles were cut off by Lin Feng. Next, Lin Feng used the powerful God-forbidden 8 seals. Killing the octopus demon wasn't easy, but sealing it was much easier. Moreover, Lin Feng didn't want to kill the octopus demon now. This was because he still had a lot of questions to ask the octopus demon. If he killed the octopus demon now, he wouldn't be able to get the information he wanted from it. The God-forbidding 8 seals formed numerous runes that suppressed the octopus troll's body. The octopus demon's expression changed greatly. As a top expert in the past, the octopus demon was naturally very knowledgeable. When Lin Feng used the God-forbidden 8 seals, he already knew that it was a sealing technique. Although the octopus demon claimed to have an immortal body, how could there be a true immortal body in this world? Even the immortal divine body wasn't a true immortal body. Therefore, there was more than one way to kill the octopus demon. The octopus demon was very clear about this. If he was suppressed by Lin Feng, then Lin Feng would find a way to kill him. At that time, he would die without a burial ground. The giant octopus demon fiercely struggled, but it was too late. Numerous sealing runes were branded on its body. The sealing runes directly sealed the octopus demon's magic power. "Damn it! You actually dared to seal me? Who do you think you are? You actually dared to seal me?" After being sealed, the octopus demon went completely berserk. He couldn't help but loudly curse. Lin Feng sneered and slapped the octopus demon. With a slap, Lin Feng's slap ruthlessly landed on the octopus demon's face. The octopus demon's face was swollen from Lin Feng's slap. A dense killing intent appeared in the octopus demon's eyes. "What? You can't accept it? Don't forget that you're just a prisoner now. How dare you shout in front of this young master? You really don't know the difference between life and death." Lin Feng sneered. The octopus demon wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces. However, He knew that he had to remain calm because he was now Lin Feng's prisoner. Moreover, he could sense a cold killing intent from Lin Feng. This meant that Lin Feng could really kill him. The octopus demon had been sealed for so many years. Now that it had just escaped, it naturally didn't want to be killed. The octopus demon took a deep breath and said, "What will it take for you to spare my life?" "You want me to spare your life?" "That depends on whether you're willing to cooperate or not." "You'll answer whatever I ask you later," Lin Feng said. "Ask away. If I know, I'll tell you." "I'll naturally tell you," said the octopus demon. Lin Feng asked, "What's the situation in the Western universe?" The octopus troll said, "I'm not particularly clear about the current situation of the Western universe. After all, I've been sealed for countless years. If you want to know more about the Western universe, I can tell you some of the situation of my era." "All right, tell me about it," Lin Feng said. The octopus troll said, "The Western universe's civilization isn't as developed as the Eastern universe's. But even so, there are still many powerful life forms in the Western universe. However, among these powerful life forms, there are some peak experts. These top-notch experts are the absolute rulers of the Western universe world. For example, God, Allah, Zeus, and Satan are the absolute rulers of the Western universe. Their strength is unimaginable, and they have countless methods. Countless experts are loyal to them." Lin Feng asked, "Are these the 4 strongest experts of the Western universe?" The octopus troll demon nodded and said, "Yes, they are the 4 strongest powerhouses of the Western universe. However, there should be a few other powerhouses at the same level as them, but they keep a low profile. That's why the outside world doesn't know much about them. Even I don't know much about the other strongest powerhouses." Lin Feng asked, "Who did you submit to?" The octopus demon said, "I submitted to Satan." Satan meant devil. "I'm a demon. Satan is my master." When the octopus demon mentioned Satan, a fanatical look appeared in its eyes. Lin Feng was astonished when he saw the look in the octopus demon's eyes. The octopus demon was probably equivalent to a saint-level expert at its peak, yet it still worshipped Satan. Just what kind of existence was Satan? How could he make the octopus demon worship him so? Lin Feng had a feeling that there were many experts in the Western universe who worship Satan just like the octopus demon. Asked Lin Feng, "With your cultivation level, you must have had a very high position under Satan's command, right?" The octopus demon proudly said, "Of course. I was one of the 12 demon kings under Satan." Chapter 4999. The octopus demon explained, "That's because the Western universes are too small compared to the Eastern universes. The Western universes are only a millionth of the Eastern universes." Lin Feng said, "The Eastern universes are endlessly vast. Even if the Western universes are only a millionth of the Eastern universes, they can still be considered vast, right?" The octopus demon said, "Of course, but the Western universes are different from the Eastern universes. There are too many experts in the Eastern universes, so it's difficult for any organization in the Eastern universes to divide the Eastern universes. The Western universes, on the other hand, have fewer supreme experts, so they divided the Western universes. They want to find new worlds, so they set their sights on the Eastern universes." Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. "So you're saying that you're an outpost sent to investigate the situation in the Eastern universes?" The octopus demon nodded. "You can put it that way. If I hadn't been so high profile back then, I wouldn't have been suppressed." Lin Feng sneered. "You being suppressed is already a relatively good outcome. If those top experts had made a move, you would have died many times over." The octopus demon didn't refute Lin Feng's words. There were indeed many terrifying existences in the Eastern universes. Some of them were even comparable to the Western universe's sovereigns. The octopus demon fell silent for a moment, then asked, "Is there anything else you want to ask? Didn't the experts in the Western universes fight each other?" Lin Feng asked after some thought. Hee. That's the difference between the Eastern universes and the Western universes. The Eastern universes have many top experts, and the rate at which they're replaced is also faster. That's why many ambitious people have been born. Wars often break out in the Eastern universes, and some of them are even disastrous. Who knows how many organizations have been destroyed? However, there's no need to worry about that in the Western universes. In the Western universe, there are only a few top experts, so the top experts are familiar with each other. The rest of the experts are attached to those top experts, so if those top experts don't fight, it's impossible for a large-scale war to break out. But because those top experts are too familiar with each other, it's impossible for them to start a war. Therefore, for a long time, the Western universe is relatively peaceful. If those top experts want to expand their territory, they're more willing to do so. The octopus demon explained. Lin Feng frowned. He hadn't expected the situation in the Western universes to be like this. The top experts really did have foresight. Lin Feng continued asking, "Did the Western universes invade the Eastern universes?" A small group of cultivators came. You could call them the vanguard, but they were just small fries. They couldn't pose too much of a threat to the Eastern universes. Originally, the main force was supposed to follow, but for some reason, the main force never arrived. Oh? You don't know why? Lin Feng asked. The giant octopus troll said, "I originally wanted to go back and ask, but those despicable fellows joined forces to suppress me, so I couldn't go back. Countless years later, I came out of seclusion once more, but I never thought I would meet you." At this point, the octopus demon felt very depressed. When he had first come out of seclusion, he had thought that he would recover quickly and become an overlord. He would then cause chaos in the multiverse, and it wouldn't be too late for him to return to the Western universes after that. Alas, he hadn't been able to fulfill his wishes before he was suppressed by Lin Feng. Now that he thought about it, he had the urge to vomit blood. If possible, he really didn't want to meet a god of death like Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "Good. You're quite honest." The octopus demon heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Lin Feng's words. He planned to ask Lin Feng when he would let him go. At that moment, Yun Zhongtian came to Lin Feng's side and whispered something into Lin Feng's ear. Lin Feng nodded, then looked at the octopus demon and asked, "Who destroyed the seal on you?" The octopus demon said, "It was a cultivator called Zhou Zichong. After he was tempted by my words, he found an opportunity to destroy the seal." "Zhou Zichong? How could it be Zhou Zichong?" Hearing the giant octopus demon's words, Yun Zhongtian's face turned an ugly shade. Because this Zhou Zichong was Yun Zhongtian's sworn brother, and he had even risked his life to save Yun Zhongtian's life back then. Moreover, Zhou Zichong had always been very loyal, and Yun Zhongtian just could not believe that it was Zhou Zichong who had betrayed the Inferno Island. Because of Zhou Zichong's betrayal, Inferno Island had suffered heavy casualties. When he thought of his dead brothers, his loved ones, and his brother's loved ones, Yun Zhongtian felt extremely sorrowful. If it had been anyone else, Yun Zhongtian might have been able to accept it, but Zhou Zichong was the only one he could not accept. Zhou Zichong was his most trusted brother. Lin Feng raised an eyebrow. He had some impression of Zhou Zichong. Back then, Zhou Zichong had followed Yun Zhongtian to the Blackstone Mountains. They had stayed in Blackstone City for a short while, and that was how they got to know each other. Lin Feng had seen Zhou Zichong before. However, he had never interacted with Zhou Zichong, so his impression of Zhou Zichong was not particularly deep. Lin Feng said, "He is still him. But he is no longer him." Although Lin Feng's words sounded a little awkward, Yun Zhongtian understood what Lin Feng meant. He was still him. What he meant was that Zhou Zichong was still Zhou Zichong. But he was no longer him. What he meant was that Zhou Zichong was no longer the Zhou Zichong of the past. Lin Feng did not know what kind of person Zhou Zichong was in the past, but from Yun Zhongtian's demeanor and expression, he knew that Zhou Zichong must have been a very good person. However, as time passed, people would change. Everyone would change. But some people would turn from bad to good. And some people would turn from good to bad. Two completely different changes. Yet two different lives would be created. Yun Zhongtian looked at Old Cow and the others nearby. Chapter 5000. He was here just a moment ago, but in the blink of an eye, he ran off to God knows where. Old Bull said. Yun Zhongtian knew. Zhou Zichong had escaped. Because Zhou Zichong had seen Lin Feng oppressing the giant octopus demon, Zhou Zichong had a bad premonition. Before the giant octopus demon could say anything, Zhou Zichong took the initiative to escape. He had left behind his family, relatives, tribesmen, and lover, fleeing alone. Capture him, no matter where he goes. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his corpse. Yun Zhongtian said coldly. Yun Zhongtian could be considered an ambitious and ruthless person. Therefore, once he accepted Zhou Zichong's betrayal, he would regain his ruthless personality. Yes. Old Bull led the group away quickly. I've said all that needs to be said. Do you have any other questions? If you have no more questions, can you let me go now? The octopus demon said. Let you go? Did I say I'd let you go? Lin Feng smiled faintly at the octopus demon. Hearing that, the octopus demon's expression changed. He said gloomily, Are you going to go back on your word? Lin Feng said. You begged me not to kill you just now, and I promised you that I wouldn't kill you. But you didn't ask me to let you go. You. Hearing Lin Feng's words, the octopus demon trembled in anger. He knew that Lin Feng was playing a word game with him. What he meant was that he wanted Lin Feng to let him go. However, Lin Feng did not let him go. He only spared him. Based on what he said, it could be interpreted that way. You know that I want you to let me go, the octopus demon said with a gloomy face. Lin Feng said, Nonsense. I clearly said I wouldn't kill you. That was your request. I've always agreed to anyone's request. Lin Feng stopped listening to the octopus demon's nonsense. He waved his hand and suppressed the octopus demon within the 4 ferocious cauldrons. Even if the giant octopus troll died 1,000 times or even 10,000 times, it would still be too easy for him. However, the giant octopus troll was still useful to Lin Feng. Lin Feng planned to visit the Western universe in the future, but Lin Feng didn't know how to get there. Furthermore, even if he went to the Western universe world, he would still be in the dark and would not know anything. When the time came, he could use the octopus demon as a guide. Lin Feng wasn't afraid of the octopus demon tricking him. This was because before they set off, Lin Feng would use the Great Purification to convert the octopus demon. At that time, the octopus demon would be loyal to Lin Feng. It definitely wouldn't deceive or betray Lin Feng. After the octopus troll was suppressed by Lin Feng, the demonic energy that permeated the surroundings gradually dissipated. Lin Feng said, Go check on the casualties and treat the injured. We won't be staying here any longer. Yun Zhongtian wanted to keep Lin Feng for a few more days so that he could properly thank Lin Feng. When he heard that Lin Feng was about to leave, he knew that Lin Feng had already made up his mind. Therefore, he didn't urge Lin Feng to stay. Yun Zhongtian cupped his fists and said, Young Master Ji, Yun Zhongtian will remember today's great kindness. In the future, this one is willing to go through water and tread on fire for young master. With just a word from young master, this one will definitely not frown. Lin Feng smiled and said, You don't have to be so courteous. Aren't we friends? It's only right for friends to help each other. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Yun Zhongtian immediately became excited. To be able to gain Lin Feng's approval, even if he had to die, he would have no regrets. Lin Feng patted Yun Zhongtian's shoulder and left with Ling Zishi. Lin Feng summoned the three-headed viper. He sat cross-legged on top of the three-headed viper's humongous head, recovering his powers. After his powers had recovered, Ling Zishi said, I want to eat teppanyaki octopus. I want to eat teppanyaki octopus. Lin Feng said with a smile. How about this? I'll cut off the tentacles on that fellow's head and make you a teppanyaki octopus to eat. Ling Zishi said. I don't want to eat that fellow's tentacles. It's disgusting just looking at them. I want to eat a real teppanyaki octopus. Then I'll go catch a huge octopus for you to roast," Lin Feng said with a smile. Ling Zishi was instantly elated and nodded her head repeatedly. The three-headed viper understood tacitly and immediately flew towards the lake with Lin Feng and Ling Zishi on its back. As this lake had some tributaries that flowed into the sea, so there were some fish from the sea that flowed into the lake along the rivers, and octopuses could be found. Not long after, Lin Feng caught a large octopus. Its tentacles were about 10 meters long. Lin Feng took out a piece of immortal iron. Under Lin Feng's control, the piece of immortal iron floated in front of him. Lin Feng placed the cleaned octopus tentacles on top of it, and then used the heavenly fire to repeatedly calcine it. Not long after, the aroma of roasted octopus meat filled the air. Lin Feng sprinkled some seasonings. After waiting for a moment, the teppanyaki octopus was ready. "Try it and see how it tastes," Lin Feng said. Ling Zishi used a knife to cut off a small piece of octopus meat and then ate it. In fact, she usually didn't eat these things at all. After coming to the undying realm and following beside Lin Feng, she also began to eat some of the junk food. In the eyes of cultivators, "Woo-woo, it's so delicious." As Ling Zishi ate, she called out in a muffled voice. Her voice faintly carried a hint of sobbing. Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh secretly. The taste of teppanyaki octopus was really too good. It was Ling Zishi's first time eating teppanyaki octopus. It was so delicious that she cried. It turned out that Lin Feng heard that some people would cry after eating some extremely delicious food because the food was too delicious. Because he had never seen such a situation before, he didn't quite believe this saying. Now that he saw Ling Zishi cry because of eating teppanyaki octopus, he finally believed this saying. Lin Feng also cut off a piece of octopus meat and then ate it. His eyes couldn't help but light up slightly. Teppanyaki octopus and roasted meat were completely different experiences. Teppanyaki octopus had the taste of the sea, and the octopus meat was very chewy. The taste was really too good. 3 months later, Lin Feng and Ling Zishi arrived at the ancient demon domain. The ancient demon domain was the base camp of the demon clan. But even so, the demon clan only controlled half of the ancient demon domain's territory. There were many powerful forces in the rest of the ancient demon domain. Most of those forces were supported by the heavenly court. So, the demon clan forces in the ancient demon domain couldn't do anything to them. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi entered Nansha City. This was the southern city of the ancient demon domain. Chapter 5001. Since the primordial era, this faction had developed extremely rapidly. Moreover, it was said that the few perfected immortal experts of the primordial era had already sealed themselves in the divine stone before the Great War at the end of the primordial era. Therefore, they did not suffer during the Great War. A few years ago, a few perfected immortal experts had already appeared one after another. It was said that one of them had already touched the threshold of the Golden Immortal Realm. Golden Immortals were also known as Immortal Immortals. Once they broke through to the Golden Immortal Realm, it would be an extremely important transformation in their lives. Strength, lifespan. There would be a huge improvement. Therefore, breaking through to the Golden Immortal Realm would be on a completely different level. In the fourth heaven of the perfected Immortal Realm, some low-level perfected immortals could often challenge high-level perfected immortals. However, this kind of challenge basically happened to Essence Immortals or Tao Immortals. Very few cultivators could challenge Golden Immortals. This was because Golden Immortals were really too powerful. They were so powerful that they were unimaginable. Once they broke through to the Golden Immortal Realm, their lives would enter a different level of life. And if one did not enter the Golden Immortal Realm, they would not be able to experience all of this. Only words. It was impossible to describe how terrifying and mysterious the Golden Immortal Realm was. As they had been traveling during this period of time, Lin Feng planned to have a good rest with Ling Zishi in Nansha City. In addition, Lin Feng only knew that the Fire Qilin, the Great Rock King, and the others were in the demon clan's ancestral land. However, Lin Feng did not know where the demon clan's ancestral land was, so he wanted to look for the Fire Qilin and the others. Lin Feng needed to find out where the demon clan's ancestral land was first. Lin Feng and Leng Zishi booked a place to stay at an inn. They lived in a courtyard. Lin Feng liked to live in such a place. Firstly, the environment was good. Secondly, it was quieter. Staying in such a place, he would not be disturbed. There's a hot spring in the courtyard. Do you want to soak in the hot spring together? Lin Feng smiled at Leng Zishi. Go to hell. Leng Zishi threw a punch at Lin Feng. Lin Feng quickly jumped back and dodged Leng Zishi's punch. Leng Zishi ignored Lin Feng and returned to her room. If she was taking a bath, she was probably washing in her room as well. It was impossible for her to run outside and soak in the hot spring with Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't have any taboos. He comfortably soaked in the hot spring for 2 hours and changed into clean clothes. Then, he planned to inquire about the ancestral land of the demonic beasts. Leng Zishi couldn't sit still. After hearing the commotion, she followed Lin Feng to inquire about the demon race's ancestral land. Lin Feng and Leng Zishi headed straight for the Baishao Pavilion. On the way, Lin Feng frowned slightly. He felt like he was being watched. There seemed to be a pair of cold eyes staring at him from the dark. Lin Feng looked behind him, but he didn't find anyone suspicious. Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal a thoughtful expression. What's wrong? Leng Zishi asked. It's fine, Lin Feng said with a smile. When they came out, Lin Feng had already inquired about the location of the Baishao Pavilion from the inn staff. Therefore, he and Leng Zishi didn't stop and directly headed in the direction of the Baishao Pavilion. Lin Feng! I didn't expect to see you here. This time, I won't let you go. I'll make sure you die without a burial place. A sinister and terrifying voice came from the corner of a street. Lin Feng naturally didn't hear the other party's words. He and Leng Zishi arrived at the Baishao Pavilion. An old man received Lin Feng and Leng Zishi. After some conversation, they learned that this old man was called Zhang Xiao. He held the position of an elder in the Baishao Pavilion. This old man didn't inquire about Lin Feng's identity. People who came to the Baishao Pavilion were all here to buy information. Therefore, the Baishao Pavilion wouldn't pry into their customers' privacy. The old man asked, May I know what information young master wants to inquire about? Lin Feng said bluntly. Does the Baishao Pavilion have any information about the demon race's ancestral land? Hearing this, the old man was slightly shocked. As a top force that opposed the demon race, the Immortal Heaven sect was rather hostile towards the demon race. All these years, with the support of the Heavenly Court, the Immortal Heaven sect and the demon race often had various conflicts. Therefore, the demon race was a taboo topic in the Immortal Heaven sect. They couldn't casually mention the demon race. If they casually mentioned the demon race, especially if they tried to inquire about the demon race, it wouldn't end well if the Immortal Heaven sect found out. Therefore, in the territory ruled by the Immortal Heaven sect, very few people would ask about the demon race. Those people were also worried that someone would leak the information. However, Lin Feng wasn't afraid of such things. Was the Immortal Heaven sect that great? At the very least, Lin Feng wasn't afraid of the Immortal Heaven sect now. Lin Feng naturally heard about how strong some of the experts in the Immortal Heaven sect were. There were even cultivators who were close to the Golden Immortal Realm. However, they were only close to the Golden Immortal Realm, and not the Perfected Immortal Realm. As long as they weren't in the Perfected Immortal Realm, they weren't Perfected Immortals. With Lin Feng's current combat strength, and the various powerful treasures he naturally didn't need to be afraid of the Immortal Heaven sect. According to the worst-case scenario, even if Lin Feng wasn't a match for the cultivator who was close to the Golden Immortal Realm, if he wanted to leave, the cultivator wouldn't be able to stop him. Young Master, do you know that in the territories ruled by the Immortal Heaven sect, Immortal One sect, Immortal Beast sect and Immortal Battle sect, try not to inquire about the demon race? If the people from the 4 immortal sects know about it, the situation will be very bad, the old man reminded. Lin Feng smiled faintly and said, It's okay. Looking at Lin Feng's casual look, the old man's heart skipped a beat. Lin Feng didn't seem like someone who didn't know the gravity of the situation. After hearing his words, he still looked so relaxed. Could it be that this young master had some powerful means? That was why he looked so confident, the old man thought. Perhaps it was possible. The old man said, There are a total of 7 ancestral lands of the demon race in the ancient demon realm. I wonder which ancestral land of the demon clan you wish to inquire about. The ancestral lands of the demon race? Lin Feng could not help but feel surprised. This was something he had never thought of. Among the 7 ancestral lands of the demon race, Lin Feng had no idea which King Zhuang, Fire Qilin, and the others were in. However, Lin Feng remembered that Hua Lingxian had invited him before. King Zhuang, Fire Qilin, and the others should be together with Hua Lingxian's ancestral lands. Therefore, Lin Feng continued to ask, Where is Hua Lingxian's ancestral lands? Hua Lingxian, one of the top 10 fairies. The old man was shocked. That's right. Lin Feng nodded. The old man said, She's from the first ancestral land. The first ancestral land is also the holy land of the demon race. It's very mysterious. If young master asks me where the other 6 ancestral lands of the demon race are, I know all of them. However, I really don't know where the first ancestral land is. Chapter 5002. The old man smiled bitterly. Indeed, we don't have any clues. The first ancestral land of the demonic beast should be a very special parallel world. If you want to enter that parallel world, you need to know where the time node is. Apart from that, you also need a special medallion. Actually, the 4 major immortal sects are also looking for information about the first ancestral land, but just like our all-knowing pavilion, they haven't been able to find any clues. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. So many forces were unable to find out where the first ancestral land was. This was indeed a troublesome matter. If they didn't know where the first ancestral land was, how would they get there? Perhaps they could go to the other ancestral lands and ask around? Lin Feng felt that this method was feasible. Where are the other 6 ancestral lands? Lin Feng asked. The old man took out a jade tube and said, It's all recorded inside. Lin Feng asked, How much is this information worth? 300,000 immortal stones, the old man said. Lin Feng nodded and took out 300,000 immortal stones, handing them over to the old man. The old man said, Young master, it's fine to inquire about the first ancestral land of the demonic beasts in the all-knowing pavilion, but you must not talk about it outside. Also, don't go to other businesses to inquire about it. The other businesses definitely don't know about it, and many of them are inextricably linked to the 4 major immortal sects. You might not be afraid of these things, but the 4 major immortal sects have terrifying methods. The less trouble, the better. What do you think, young master? Thank you for the reminder. I'll remember it. Lin Feng cupped his fists and left with Ling Zishi. Where are we going next? Ling Zishi asked. We'll rest for 3 days. Then, we'll go to the ancestral land of the absolute beginning demonic beasts to take a look, said Lin Feng. The absolute beginning demonic beasts of the 9 prefectures had some friendship with Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng had no friendship with the absolute beginning demonic beasts of the undying world. The reason he wanted to go to the absolute beginning demonic beasts of the undying world was because this place was the closest to the gathering place of the absolute beginning demonic beasts of the undying world. Therefore, Lin Feng planned to head to the undying world's grand primordium demon race to gather information. Lin Feng had long been mentally prepared for this. After all, it was impossible for the primordial demon race of the undying world to casually leak the news of the first ancestral land of the demon race. Lin Feng could only let nature take its course and take it one step at a time. In the next few days, Ling Zishi took Lin Feng for a stroll in Nansha City. If he saw something he liked, he would take it and run. He didn't pay for it. Lin Feng followed behind her and paid for her. In the past few days, Lin Feng had heard some things about the Heavenly Illusionary Land. The Heavenly Illusionary Land was a very special training ground. It was said that some of the top forces in the ancient demon domain had a way to enter the Heavenly Illusionary Land. Some time ago, when the Heavenly Illusionary Land opened, many cultivators entered it. Of course, those who were able to enter were all cultivators from large forces who had mastered the method. Ordinary cultivators did not have the chance to enter the Heavenly Illusionary Land. As time passed, the cultivators who entered the Heavenly Illusionary Land obtained a lot of opportunities. Moreover, some cultivators returned from the Heavenly Illusionary Land with a full load and began to peddle the things they obtained from the Heavenly Illusionary Land in the major cities. And those things were often very ancient and extraordinary, causing many people to fight over them. I heard that a little rock king appeared in the demon race. This person obtained a heavenly illusionary mirror in the Heavenly Illusionary Land. That afternoon, when Lin Feng and Ling Zishi were eating in a restaurant, a few cultivators at the next table were talking about the Heavenly Illusionary Land. At this time, a cultivator's words attracted Lin Feng's attention, because that cultivator mentioned, "Little Rock King! Little Rock King!" Lin Feng's old friend. Back then in the Sky Martial Continent, in the 9 regions, Little Rock King and Lin Feng fought side by side many times. And, back then, Lin Feng was young, and the Great Rock King helped Lin Feng a lot. Lin Feng was a person who knew how to repay kindness. He had never forgotten the kindness of the Great Rock King. Lin Feng did not expect to hear these people talking about the Little Rock King. Heavenly Illusionary Mirror, this is a good thing. Rumor has it that there are 7 heavenly illusionary mirrors. If you find 7 heavenly illusionary mirrors, the heavenly illusionary mirror will fuse into one and turn into an ancient weapon. However, even if the 7 heavenly illusionary mirrors are separated, they are still equivalent to a holy weapon. Who is this Little Rock King? How could he have such great luck? I've never heard of such a Little Rock King in the demon race. Another cultivator said doubtfully. The cultivator who spoke first said, "It's normal to have never heard of this person. However, this Little Rock King is not simple. It is said that he is a cultivator who ascended from the mortal world." Immediately, someone scoffed and said, "Cultivators who ascended from the mortal world are destined to have no great future. This person seems to have walked into dogshit luck." The cultivator who spoke first said, "He came from the 9 regions great world." Hiss! As soon as the cultivator finished speaking. Then, the group of cultivators sucked in a breath of cold air. The 9 regions great world was the starting point of the myriad worlds. Everyone knew how extraordinary the 9 regions great world was. In fact, many people might not understand the meaning of the starting point of the myriad worlds. This was easy to understand. The starting point. It was the place of origin, the place where it first appeared. At the beginning of the epoch was chaos. In the chaos, there was only one world, and that was the 9 regions. Later on, the 9 regions exploded. Then, it began to split. Only then did it split into the 3 supreme realms, the trichiliocosm, countless medium worlds, small worlds, and so on. In fact, at the beginning, the 9 regions was the cradle of the strong. Even if the 9 regions was not the supreme realm. However, countless top-notch experts had walked out of the 9 regions. For example, Hong Mang, Deus Luya, Patriarch Hun Kuan, Hong Jun, Pangu, Nuwa, the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, and so on. At that time, the center of the myriad worlds was the 9 regions great world. However, as time passed, the 9 regions great world gradually became mediocre. Ordinary people might not know why the 9 regions great world became mediocre, but some top-notch forces knew some secrets. The reason why the 9 regions great world became mediocre seemed to be closely related to several places of death in the 9 regions great world. The places of death in the 9 regions great world were perhaps the most mysterious and strange places of death in the myriad worlds. Even the life-forbidden zones in the heaven realm, the wasteland, and other places were not as strange as the places of death in the 9 regions great world. The cultivators from the 9 regions' great world were somewhat different from the cultivators from other worlds. No one knew why they were different. However, these people were very different. This difference was reflected in many aspects. For example, during the Age of Doom, even in the Heaven realm, it was difficult for cultivators to break through to the Saint realm. Chapter 5003. The 9 prefectures seemed so different. Countless people and forces wanted to find out what was so extraordinary about the 9 prefectures' great world. They wanted to know why such a thing happened. However, all of this was a mystery. There was no way to find out. This was also the reason why the group of cultivators was so shocked when they heard that Little Rock King was a cultivator from the 9 prefectures' great world. They looked down on cultivators from the mortal world, but that did not include the 9 prefectures' great world. On the contrary, these cultivators had a special respect for cultivators from the 9 prefectures' great world. Other than that, they were also curious. Not only were they curious about the cultivators of the 9 prefectures' great world, but they were also curious about the 9 prefectures' great world. Countless people dreamed of going to the 9 prefectures' great world one day to take a look. It seems that Little Rock King must have been listed as a key cultivation target by the demon clan's ancestral land, right? A cultivator said with emotion. That must be the case. Cultivators from the 9 prefectures are different from the rest. They will definitely be a key cultivation target, another cultivator said with envy. Another cultivator said, Little Rock King is very extraordinary. He has outstanding talent and a powerful bloodline. His strength has improved very quickly, but he has only cultivated for about 200 years. I heard that after Little Rock King obtained the Empyrean Mirror, he was besieged by many experts. It is said that some of his companions even died in that battle. Hearing this, Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. He wondered if Feng Yaorao and the others were with Little Rock King. If they were together, would they be among those who died? Lin Feng's heart instantly jumped. I've heard about this too. It seems that some experts from the 4 major immortal sects are besieging them. It is said that the top geniuses from the 4 major immortal sects are involved in this matter. Another cultivator said. The 4 major immortal sects were supported by the Heavenly Court. Of course, the 14 major immortal sects had some tricks up their sleeves. However, although the 4 major immortal sects had some tricks up their sleeves, the 4 major immortal sects were extremely united when it came to dealing with the demon clan. Come, let's drink, a cultivator said as he raised his wine cup. These people did not continue to talk about this matter. They raised their cups and drank together. Leng Zixi looked carefree, but she was actually a meticulous person. After seeing Lin Feng's expression, she knew that the person they were talking about was related to Lin Feng. Leng Zixi asked, Is that Little Rock King your friend? Lin Feng nodded and said, It's a good friend from when we were young. I'll go ask them about the Little Rock King. Lin Feng stood up and walked over to the table. He cupped his fists and said, Brothers, I heard you all talking about Little Pen King earlier. May I know how he is now? When they saw Lin Feng, one of the cultivators quickly stood up. That cultivator quickly cupped his fists and said, I heard that the Little Rock King escaped with injuries, but some experts from the 4 immortal sects went to chase after him. A few days ago, I heard that the Little Rock King escaped from the heavenly illusory land, and the cultivators from the 4 immortal sects have been chasing after him. Brother, do you know where the Little Rock King was? Lin Feng asked. It's said that he escaped to the ancient demon desert, the cultivator said. Thank you for telling me. Lin Feng cupped his fists and threw some immortal stones to the cultivator before leaving with Leng Zixi. After Lin Feng left, the cultivator heaved a sigh of relief. He noticed that his back was drenched in sweat. His forehead was covered in beads of sweat. He sat down in his seat and panted heavily. He sat down and sat down. Brother Wang, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? One of the cultivators asked. I'm fine, the cultivator said with a wave of his hand. Brother Wang, why were you so polite to that kid earlier? There's no need to do that, right? Is that kid even worthy? Another cultivator said disapprovingly. Clearly, he felt that his good friend was being too polite. The others nodded in agreement. They felt that the cultivator was making a mountain out of a molehill. The cultivator smiled bitterly and said, "Fortunately, we didn't say anything out of line earlier. Otherwise, we might have already gone to meet the King of Hell." "Brother Wang, what do you mean by that?" The others couldn't help but frown slightly as they looked at the cultivator surnamed Wang in confusion. The cultivator said, "To tell you the truth, that young master just now. Not anyone else. It's the young master from the Sin realm." "What?" After hearing the words of the cultivator surnamed Wang, everyone suddenly jumped to their feet, each of them revealing an expression of shock. Although the cultivator surnamed Wang didn't mention a name, they knew who the cultivator surnamed Wang was talking about. When they realized that the cultivator just now was the legendary existence, the group of cultivators was still shocked. At the same time, they broke out in cold sweat. Fortunately, they didn't say anything. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know how they died. Lin Feng naturally didn't know what those cultivators were talking about after he and Ling Zishi left. Lin Feng brought Ling Zishi with him and flew at maximum speed towards the ancient demon desert. Lin Feng had heard of the ancient demon desert before. It was said to be an extremely strange desert in the ancient demon domain. The desert was very dangerous. First, it was because there were many terrifying poisonous insects there. It was said that some of the poisonous insects could even poison a true immortal expert to death. If one was bitten by those poisonous insects, even if one didn't die, they would lose half their life. Second, the desert had an extremely terrifying magnetic field. Once one entered the desert, it was easy to get lost. If one got lost in the desert, they might never wake up again. This was an extremely terrifying thing. Many cultivators got lost in the ancient demon desert and never made it out alive. Third, it was said that there were many powerful desert creatures in the desert. Those desert creatures were very hostile to cultivators from the outside world. When cultivators from the outside world entered the desert to wait, they would often be attacked by those desert creatures. In the end, many cultivators from the outside world died under the attacks of those desert creatures. This was a very common occurrence. Of course, there were other factors as well. Therefore, the ancient demon desert was regarded as a forbidden area by many people. However, it wasn't that no one entered the ancient demon desert. In fact, there were still many cultivators who entered the ancient demon desert every year. This was because the ancient demon desert had some precious resources that the outside world didn't have. Those cultivators who entered the ancient demon desert wanted to search for those precious resources. Then, they would sell them. Chapter 5004. Half a month later, Lin Feng and Ling Zishi saw the ancient demon desert. After seeing the ancient demon desert, Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. After arriving here, he realized that his blood seemed to flow a lot faster. This was the sudden inspiration ability, which meant that this place was very dangerous. The sudden inspiration ability was reminding Lin Feng not to enter rashly. However, Lin Feng did not care about these things at all. Little Rock King had escaped into the ancient demon desert. Lin Feng had to find Little Rock King because Little Rock King was Lin Feng's good brother. If he knew that his good brother was being hunted down and ignored it, he would not be Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at Ling Zishi and said, "Wait for me outside. I'll go in myself." Ling Zishi said, "No, I want to go too." Lin Feng said, "It's really too dangerous inside. If you go in, I might not be able to take care of you." Ling Zishi said, "You underestimate me too much. I don't need anyone to take care of me. What kind of storms have I not seen before? Do you think a tiny ancient demon desert can trap me?" Ling Zishi was naturally active, so it was not possible for her to stay here. Lin Feng had already thought of this. Therefore, when he heard Ling Zishi's words, Lin Feng could only smile bitterly and nod. Since Ling Zishi insisted, he could only bring Ling Zishi along. Many cultivators were wandering outside the ancient demon desert. Some of them were here to admire the ancient demon desert. Some of them were smug, wondering if they should enter the ancient demon desert to look for treasures. This was not an easy decision because a place like the ancient demon desert was too dangerous. If they were not careful, they would lose their lives. Naturally, cultivators were worried about this. Therefore, before entering the ancient demon desert, they would consider it very carefully. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi did not hesitate. They rushed into the ancient demon desert directly. Lin Feng summoned the heart compass. "Great Sage Martin Immortal! Come out!" Lin Feng said. Sage Martin flew out and looked at the visitor, asking, "Why are you looking for me?" "Help me book a place for my friend, the Little Rock King," Lin Feng said. "I want the profound yellow origin stone. Do you have it?" Great Immortal Sage Martin asked. Lin Feng had never heard of the mysterious yellow origin stone, so he naturally could not take out this kind of thing. Lin Feng said, "Not at the moment. I'll owe you for now. First, help me find my brother and then we'll talk. I'll compensate you in the future. Our rule has always been to get paid before doing anything. I'm sure you're aware of this, so I don't think I need to say anything more, right? Rules my ass. This is a special period, so we should be treated differently. Don't forget what your status is, and what my status is. If you talk about rules with me at any other time, I won't say anything. But if you talk about rules with me at this time, and something happens to my brother, I guarantee that you will be buried with him," Lin Feng said viciously. Sage Martin said, "You're a member of society. We can't afford to offend you, okay? But you must remember what you said. Don't forget to help me find the profound yellow origin stone," Lin Feng said. "Don't worry, I'll keep my word." Immediately after, the sacred Martin Great Immortal entered the heart plate, and the needle on the heart plate began to spin rapidly. Every time it spun, it would vibrate violently. Runes revolved around the heart compass. These runes were very special and could help the heart compass determine its position. As time passed, the needle on the heart compass started to slow down. However, the heart compass was unable to determine its final position. Sage Martin appeared and said, "I think we should leave this damned place. This place is very dangerous, and the magnetic field is so strong that it can seriously affect the heart compass. Leaving now is the best choice." Lin Feng said, "We're not leaving. Keep trying. Anyway, you still have some trump cards that you haven't used yet." Sage Martin said, "Kid, you don't understand. You have a lot of luck, and many powerful creatures want to kill you and steal your luck. If you leave obediently, there won't be any problems. However, if you insist on staying here, it will be extremely terrifying because those powerful creatures will definitely take the initiative to find you. While we've just entered the ancient demon desert, it's not too late to leave now. I said I'm not leaving, so I'm not leaving. Stop wasting time and quickly determine Little Rock King's position," Lin Feng said. Even though he didn't want to do that, he had no choice but to listen to Lin Feng's orders. He had no choice but to listen to Lin Feng. Sage Martin entered the heart compass again. Lin Feng could vaguely hear an extremely weak sound coming from the heart compass. Sage Martin seemed to be chanting an incantation, but Lin Feng did not know what the incantation was about. It probably had something to do with controlling the heart compass. This guy had many secret techniques that were basically related to controlling the heart compass. The needle on the heart compass started to spin rapidly again. This time, it spun even faster. Time continued to pass. More and more runes emerged from the heart compass. The heart compass spun faster and faster. Finally, the heart compass stopped once again. This time, it pointed in a direction. Lin Feng's face lit up. The heart compass had pointed in a direction. Did that mean that Little Rock King was in that direction? We can move now. Follow the heart compass and we won't get lost, the sacred Martin Great Immortal vowed. Lin Feng nodded and quickly followed the direction pointed by the heart compass with Ling Zishi. On the way, they saw more than 10 cultivators exploring the desert, but Lin Feng and Ling Zishi did not pay attention to them. They continued to walk deeper into the desert. In the evening, A sandstorm started to blow in the desert. It was a black sandstorm that covered the sky and the sun. It was too scary. After seeing the black sandstorm that engulfed the world, Lin Feng could not help but frown. Hurry up and retreat. That sandstorm seems a little strange, Sage Martin said. Sage Martin's principle was to seek luck and avoid calamity. As long as there was danger, it would not recommend going. Sage Martin only wanted to go to places that were not dangerous. Lin Feng said, I have the hurricane pearl, it can stop the sandstorm. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng took out the hurricane pearl. Lin Feng said, I'll hug you so that you won't be blown away by the sandstorm. Chapter 5005. Take your claws away! Ling Zishi clenched her teeth and looked at Lin Feng. She felt that Lin Feng was taking advantage of her. Lin Feng said with a righteous look, Look at what you're saying. What do you mean take your claws away? I'm protecting you right now. It's for your own good. Let me tell you, I don't have any evil thoughts about you. I've always treated you like a little sister. Little sister, your whole family. Ling Zishi was a violent girl. When she heard Lin Feng say that he had always treated her like a little sister, she became even angrier. She threw a fist at Lin Feng, but Lin Feng quickly dodged it. Lin Feng said, Okay. You said you didn't want me to care about you. Then I won't care about you. If you're blown away by the sandstorm later, don't blame me. Ling Zishi curled her lips and said, What can a small sandstorm do to this lady? Ling Zishi had an incomparably arrogant expression. She was obviously a little proud. Moreover, she was extremely confident in herself. Lin Feng didn't know where Ling Zishi's confidence came from. Perhaps she had some powerful means. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi quickly rushed forward. The sandstorm was too terrifying. Lin Feng roughly estimated that the sandstorm had covered an area of over 100 li. Such a powerful sandstorm was extremely rare. The bodies of the cultivators who were caught in the sandstorm were directly torn apart by the sandstorm. They died miserably under the attack of the sandstorm. This kind of sandstorm was very dangerous, especially the core area. Even if Lin Feng had a treasure like the hurricane pearl, he wouldn't easily step into the core area of the sandstorm. It was a place that could take one's life. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi entered the sandstorm together. Ling Zishi sped up and flew quickly in the sandstorm. She giggled as she flew. To her, the sandstorm could only be described as fun. She turned her head to look at Lin Feng and said, Hurry up, you're too slow. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Ling Zishi was actually able to ignore such a terrifying sandstorm. He didn't know what method she used. Lin Feng sped up and flew towards Ling Zishi. Some cultivators who were running away saw that Lin Feng and Ling Zishi were unimpeded in the sandstorm. They couldn't help but shout, Abnormal! Then, those cultivators continued running further away. They didn't dare to stay here any longer. Help! Help! Save us! Some cultivators in the sandstorm screamed in horror. They called for help from Lin Feng and Ling Zishi. Lin Feng looked in the direction of the voice and saw more than 10 cultivators hiding in an ancient void ship. The seal of the ancient void ship was resisting the attack of the sandstorm. However, at this moment, the seal of the ancient void ship had begun to crack. Once the ancient void ship was destroyed, those cultivators would have to face the terrifying sandstorm directly. Although they were still in the outer region, the sandstorm was still extremely terrifying. It was not something those cultivators could resist. Let's go and take a look, Lin Feng said. Ling Zishi nodded and flew towards the ancient void ship with Lin Feng. Lin Feng was much faster than Ling Zishi. However, even though Lin Feng was flying at full speed towards the ancient void ship, Lin Feng was still unable to reach the ancient void ship before it was destroyed. The ancient void ship was destroyed by the sandstorm. More than 10 cultivators were swept into the depths of the sandstorm. They struggled hard but could not resist the sandstorm. This sandstorm was too terrifying. It was the most terrifying sandstorm Lin Feng had ever seen in his life. Bang! 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 Suddenly, the fleshly bodies of some of the cultivators were blasted apart by the sandstorm's attacks. Even the cultivators who did not die were swept into the depths of the sandstorm. They would probably die without a burial place soon. Lin Feng quickly flew over and put his arm around the waist of a beautiful woman. She was about 30 years old. She was mature and charming. She was very charming. However, she had been scared out of her wits earlier. Now that Lin Feng had hugged her waist, she quickly hugged Lin Feng with both hands, as if she was afraid that Lin Feng would let go of her. Lin Feng did not have any romantic thoughts. Saving people was more important now. He quickly rushed towards the next cultivator. Lin Feng rushed to the side of the second cultivator. This was also a female cultivator. She was tall and charming, especially her long legs, which left a deep impression. Lin Feng's other hand hugged the long-legged beauty's waist. The long-legged beauty grabbed onto Lin Feng as if she was drowning and did not dare to relax. As for the others, they had all been swallowed by the sandstorm. Lin Feng smiled wryly. The others were probably dead. He couldn't do anything about it. Lin Feng faintly remembered that 2 extremely beautiful women had also been swallowed by the sandstorm. What a pity. You really know how to save people. Ling Zishi flew over and cast a sidelong glance at Lin Feng. She looked very angry, especially when she saw the beautiful woman and the long-legged beauty wrapped around Lin Feng like octopuses. She became even angrier, although she did not know where this nameless anger came from. Lin Feng naturally heard the ridicule in Ling Zishi's words. He said, "I'm just following the principle of saving people who are closest to me." Ling Zishi sneered twice. Obviously, Ling Zishi did not believe Lin Feng's words. She didn't pay attention to Lin Feng and continued flying. In fact, Lin Feng did not believe what he said. Lin Feng did see that these 2 women were extremely beautiful, so he saved them first. You 2 can let go. I'll use my mana to protect you. Nothing will happen to you, Lin Feng said. He was actually quite worried that Ling Zishi would misunderstand him. When the 2 women heard Lin Feng's words, their pretty faces turned slightly red. Only then did they let go of Lin Feng. Lin Feng used his mana to protect the 2 female cultivators, then quickly chased after Ling Zishi. They successfully rushed out of the sandstorm. Ling Zishi did not wait for Lin Feng. Instead, she flew directly into the depths of the desert. The 2 women originally wanted to ask who Lin Feng was. They were grateful that Lin Feng had saved them. In addition, Lin Feng was extraordinarily handsome, so they had a very good impression of Lin Feng. Therefore, they wanted to continue getting to know him. However, before they could speak, Lin Feng said, "The ancient demon desert is full of danger. You should have seen it. Quickly leave the ancient demon desert." With that, Lin Feng quickly chased after Ling Zishi. Chapter 5006. Lin Feng caught up with Ling Zishi and said, "Wait for me. Why are you flying so fast?" Ling Zishi turned to look at Lin Feng and sneered. "Why should I wait for you? Those 2 beauties are so tempting. One is mature and charming, while the other has long and charming legs. You can choose to continue fooling around with them. You're really enjoying the bliss of having 2 lovers." These words sounded like she was mocking Lin Feng. Lin Feng could naturally tell. He said, "Look at what you're saying. I only saved them because they were pitiful. They're just strangers to me. From now on, we probably won't meet again. You're the most important person to me." Hearing Lin Feng's words, Ling Zishi felt a little happy. Her emotions came and went quickly. However, Ling Zishi did not reveal her happiness. She snorted and said, "Don't try to deceive me with these flowery words. I'm not like those little girls who are infatuated after hearing flowery words." Lin Feng said, "I'm not saying flowery words. I'm telling the truth." Humph. Ling Zishi snorted twice. Roar! Suddenly, the roar of a beast came from the depths. When he heard the roar, Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. Something seems to have happened. Let's hurry over and take a look. Ling Zishi was excited. This girl was the kind of person who wanted to see the world in chaos. Therefore, after hearing the commotion in the depths, it was inevitable that she would be extremely excited. Ling Zishi quickly flew towards the depths of the ancient demon desert. Lin Feng also quickly flew towards the depths of the ancient demon desert. After an hour, Lin Feng and Ling Zishi saw a huge skeleton. The skeleton was about 100 meters tall. The flesh on its body had long been eaten clean, leaving only blood-stained bones. It was just eaten. I don't know what ate its flesh. We can't stay here for long. Let's go quickly. Lin Feng's expression became serious. Ling Zishi's small face was a little pale. She did not know what that creature was, but its voice could be heard from so far away. It should be an extremely powerful existence. However, even such a powerful existence was now dead. Lin Feng was worried that the unknown existence that ate the powerful creature had not left. If that was the case, it would be dangerous. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi were about to leave. Suddenly, a large amount of sand and dust swept from all directions. After seeing the rolling sand and dust, Li Yunmu was shocked. Lin Feng's expression. Because Lin Feng realized that the sand and dust not sand, it was a dense group of insects. It's the desert god killing bug. I thought that it had gone extinct a long time ago. I never thought that it would still exist. Let's go. If we don't leave now, we won't be able to, said Lin Feng gloomily. There were records of the desert god killing insect in the Classic of Mountains and Seas. According to the records in the Classic of Mountains and Seas, the desert god-killing bug was an extremely terrifying and ferocious insect species. This kind of insect species lived in swarms of insects. Moreover, these swarms of insects had a special characteristic, which was that they possessed extremely terrifying offensive and defensive abilities. First of all, in terms of attack, this swarm of insects could easily bite through a magic treasure at the immortal level. If a human's body was attacked by the swarm of insects, he would probably die a miserable death. The huge creature from before had proved all of this. That huge creature's combat strength was absolutely incomparable. However, after a miserable scream, there was no sound. When Lin Feng and Ling Zishi found the gigantic creature, it had already turned into a pile of bones. Secondly, in terms of defense, the desert god killing insect's defense was extremely abnormal. It was said that the desert god-killing insect was a terrifying existence that was impervious to fire, water, and weapons. It was an extremely difficult task to kill them. Many people had tried to kill the desert god-killing bugs, but they all failed in the end. This was also one of the reasons why the desert god-killing bugs were so powerful. The desert god-killing bugs were both offensive and defensive. Moreover, every time they were mobilized, they would cover the sky and the sun. Just imagine. How could a cultivator fight against such a swarm of desert god-killing insects? No one could fight against such a terrifying existence. Lin Feng wanted to leave this place quickly, but he and Ling Zishi were quickly surrounded by the desert god-killing insects. They had no choice but to resist the attacks of the desert god-killing insects. Lin Feng took out the heavenly fire. The heavenly fire burned fiercely. However, the heavenly fire couldn't hurt the desert god-killing insects. Seeing this, Lin Feng's face suddenly darkened. It seemed that the rumors were true. The desert god-killing insect was invulnerable to water and fire. Even his heavenly fire couldn't hurt the desert god-killing insects. This showed how terrifying the desert god-killing insects were. Lin Feng took back the heavenly fire. He put up a defensive light shield to protect him and Ling Zishi. The desert god-killing insects covered the sky and the earth quickly rushed over, completely wrapping the defensive light shield in it. Then, the desert god-killing insects began to gnaw at the defensive light shield. The defensive light shield began to thin. As time went by, Lin Feng's defensive light shield had become very thin. The surrounding desert god-killing insects had completely sealed off the sky and the earth. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi were completely trapped. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi couldn't break out of the encirclement. Ling Zishi's little face turned pale. Thinking of the creature that had been gnawed into bones, her body suddenly trembled. She was worried that she would be gnawed into bones by the desert god killing insects like that powerful creature. Even if she died, she should die beautifully. What should we do? I don't want to die. Hurry up and think of a way. Ling Zishi looked at Lin Feng and said with a pale face. At that moment, she had put all her hopes on Lin Feng. She hoped that Lin Feng could think of a way to escape. It was extremely unrealistic to break out of the encirclement now. If she wanted to live, she had to think of other ways. Lin Feng did think of other ways. Chapter 5007. Although the Devil King insect was still young, its growth rate was extremely fast. After 3 evolutions, its battle prowess had greatly increased. Not only was the Devil King insect powerful, but it could also intimidate other insectids. This was a natural pressure. It was a powerful pressure that a higher life form could exert on a lower life form. After the demonic king insect flew out, it immediately let out a sharp and ear-piercing cry. Lin Feng immediately felt that the demonic king insect's body was emitting an extremely powerful pressure. Demonic king intimidation. This was a powerful technique that the demon king insect had grasped, the demon king's intimidation technique. It was able to exert a powerful pressure on all kinds of insect-type creatures. This kind of pressure. It was extremely harmful to insect-type creatures. Therefore, most insect-type creatures would collapse after being suppressed by the demon king bug. After the demonic king insect was pressured by the demonic king insect, the desert gods slaughtering insects also became chaotic. The desert gods slaughtering insects didn't dare to continue attacking Lin Feng and Leng Zishi. The demonic king insect has been intimidated. That little insect is so powerful! Leng Zishi immediately became happy. Lin Feng didn't say anything because he felt that things weren't so simple. Although the demonic king insect was in chaos, the demonic king insect quickly calmed down. Moreover, when they were intimidated by the demonic king insect, the demonic king insect didn't run away. What did this mean? This meant that although the demonic king insect had temporarily intimidated the demonic king insect, it couldn't scare them away. As time passed, the demonic king insect would completely recover and no longer be afraid of it. This time, it was the same. The demonic king insect's fear of the demonic king insect gradually disappeared. There must be a demonic king insect hiding in the background, commanding the demonic king insect, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. If we kill that demonic king insect, won't we be out of danger? Leng Zishi asked. Lin Feng smiled bitterly and said, It's easier said than done to kill the demonic king insect in the middle of a demonic king insect. Screech! At that moment, a sharp and ear-piercing cry came from the demonic king insect. Leng Zishi immediately pointed in a direction and shouted, Over there! The insect king is over there! As soon as Leng Zishi's voice fell, the endless swarm of desert god-killing bugs swarmed towards Lin Feng, Leng Zishi, and the devil king bug. Clearly, the insect king's cry was an order to the swarm to attack Lin Feng and the others. With the support of the insect king, the insects forgot their fear of the demon king insect. That was why they charged towards Lin Feng and the others without fear of death. It's over, we're dead for sure! Leng Zishi screamed in horror. She didn't want to die, but everything in front of her made her despair. Lin Feng's face couldn't help but become extremely gloomy. The situation was indeed very unfavorable for them. The Devil King insect let out an angry roar. This roar was a sound wave type spirit art. It was infused with the power of sound waves and anger. Its power was very terrifying, and it could cause great damage to the insect swarm. A large number of godly slaughtering desert insects died, but the number of dead godly slaughtering desert insects was only a small part of the swarm. The godly slaughtering desert insects quickly moved towards Lin Feng, Leng Zishi, and the demon king insect. The current situation was too dangerous, but at this critical moment, Lin Feng summoned the primitive demon refining bug, celestial devouring bug, and flying crimson demon bug. When the 3 insect swarms flew out, The three swarms immediately fought with the desert god killing bugs. You still have so many insect swarms in captivity! After seeing the three insect swarms, Leng Zishi's eyes lit up. When the three insect swarms joined the battle, they immediately blocked the attack of the desert god killing bugs. However, Lin Feng frowned. He didn't pay attention to Leng Zishi, and he didn't have time to pay attention to her. This was because Lin Feng realized that the three insect swarms he summoned were not as strong as the desert god killing bugs. The desert god killing bugs' combat power was too terrifying. Lin Feng's primitive demon refining bug, celestial devouring bug, and flying crimson demon bug joined forces to fight against the desert god killing bugs, but they still suffered heavy casualties. The dead insects were all devoured by the desert god killing bugs. Of course, it didn't mean that the desert god killing bugs didn't suffer any casualties. In fact, it wasn't the case. The desert god killing bugs also suffered heavy casualties, but compared to Lin Feng's three insect swarms, the desert god killing bugs' casualties were much smaller. Moreover, the number of desert god killing bugs was much greater than Lin Feng's three insect swarms. Therefore, Lin Feng couldn't afford to continue fighting. If the battle continued, the three insect swarms he had painstakingly raised would all be destroyed here. This was naturally not something Lin Feng wanted to see. At this moment, the Devil King bug turned to look at Lin Feng and let out a series of cries. The Devil King bug was communicating with Lin Feng through divine thought. Lin Feng was surprised. This was because the Devil King bug had told Lin Feng away. If they fought, they might be able to escape this calamity. The Devil King bug's method was to personally enter the swarm and fight with the Insect King. If it could defeat the Insect King, they would be able to escape. Let's go together, Lin Feng said. I can't bring you guys with me. With my current ability, I can only pass through the swarm by myself and reach the Insect King, the Devil King bug said. Lin Feng's expression was rather ugly. Although the Devil King bug was already very powerful, as the king of the desert god killing bugs, how tyrannical was the Insect King? No one knew. So, the Devil King bug could contend against the Insect King. Lin Feng didn't have any confidence at all. Therefore, Lin Feng was very worried about the Devil King bug. The Devil King bug said, "This is our only chance. I'll let the Emperor Archaic and the primordial ancestral insect go with you," Lin Feng said. "I can't bring them with me either. They still have some ways to deal with the desert god killing bugs, so let them stay and protect Master," the Devil King bug said. "Then be careful," Lin Feng said in a heavy voice. Just as the Devil King bug said, the Devil King bug went to challenge the desert god killing bug king alone, and defeating this Insect King was the only way to escape. There was no other way. Therefore, Lin Feng had to let the Devil King bug try. "I won't be defeated, because I am the Devil King of the insect race," the Devil King bug said. As soon as it finished speaking, its body exuded a terrifying battle intent. Immediately, Chapter 5008. The body of the Devil King insect exuded a very special aura. After sensing the special aura of the Devil King insect, the surrounding desert god killing insects were greatly affected. Many desert god killing insects quickly retreated, not daring to get close to the Devil King insect. However, there were still some desert god killing insects that were not afraid of death rushed towards the Devil King insect and launched an attack on it. However, these desert god killing bugs were all killed by the special energy fluctuations coming from the demonic king bug's body. The demonic king bug charged towards the desert god killing bug king, but it was blocked by a large number of desert god killing bugs. It needed to continuously kill these desert god killing bugs before it could get close to the bug king, but this required time. Now, whether it was the demonic king bug or Lin Feng and the others, what they lacked the most was time. Moreover, if this continued, the demonic king bug's battle strength would be greatly reduced. Even if it managed to get close to the bug king, how would it be able to fight against it? The demonic king bug obviously knew this, so when it looked in the bug king's direction, it let out a series of strange cries. These cries sounded like a provocation. "What is it saying?" Ling Zishi looked at Lin Feng and asked. Lin Feng said, "It's issuing a life and death challenge to the Bug King. The Bug King won't agree, right? After all, the Bug King can rely on the desert god killing bugs to exhaust its battle strength, and then wait until its battle strength is almost exhausted before attacking it again." Lin Zishi said. Lin Feng said, "No, the Bug King will agree." Lin Zishi asked, "Why are you so confident?" Lin Feng replied, "The Bug King rules over a swarm of bugs, and is considered an invincible race in the ancient demon desert. Therefore, the Bug King must be extremely confident in its own strength. The demonic king bug has issued a formal challenge to the Bug King in front of its swarm. This is a provocation to the Bug King's dignity, and the Bug King shouldn't refuse. These king-level existences often place great importance on their dignity, including the Bug King. Therefore, I think the Bug King will agree to the demonic king bug's challenge." It was just as Lin Feng had said. After the demon king bug issued a challenge to the Bug King, a sharp and ear-piercing cry came from the back of the swarm. It was the Bug King's cry. After the Bug King's cry came out, the desert god-killing bugs that were besieging the demon king bug quickly opened a path for the demon king bug to pass through. Boom! A terrifying aura spread out from afar. The devil king worm and the insect king met. The two terrifying existences did not say much and directly released a terrifying aura fluctuation. After that, they quickly pounced on each other. Lin Feng saw the appearance of the insect king. It was a desert god-killing insect the size of a washbasin. Although the desert god-killing bug was not very large compared to the desert god-killing bug that was only the size of a fingernail, it was simply too enormous. Compared to the insect king, the devil king insect's body was so small and delicate. Therefore, when Lin Feng saw the size of the insect king, Lin Feng couldn't help but become extremely worried. No wonder Lin Feng was so worried. It was because the insect king was simply too powerful. Bang! Accompanied by a violent collision sound, the devil king insect and the insect king collided violently. A powerful force swept out in all directions, causing the void to shatter. The devil king insect was unable to withstand the insect king's attack. It was directly sent flying by the insect king. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi's expressions became even more unpleasant. They had only just exchanged blows, and the devil king insect was already at a disadvantage. This was not a good thing. Screech! Around them, the endless swarm of insects let out ear-piercing screeches. Those insects quickly charged toward Lin Feng and Ling Zishi. Lin Feng's three main insect swarms resisted the attacks of these desert god-killing bugs with great difficulty. However, there were still many desert god-killing bugs that broke through the line of defense and charged directly toward Lin Feng and Ling Zishi. Lin Feng's expression was gloomy. He wielded the black dragon sword and slashed at the desert god-killing bugs that had broken through the three main insect swarms. The desert god-killing bugs' bodies were extremely tough and had amazing defensive capabilities. However, if they were hit by Lin Feng's black dragon sword, they would not survive. One by one, the desert god-killing bugs were cut in half by Lin Feng's black dragon sword. Meanwhile, Ling Zishi wielded a short sword and killed some desert god-killing bugs as well. Fortunately, there were not many desert god-killing bugs that had broken through the defense. Otherwise, the situation would be very troublesome. Lin Feng summoned the Emperor Archaic and the primordial ancestor Zerg. They joined the battle and fought the desert god-killing bugs together with Lin Feng's three main insect swarms. With the help of the Emperor Archaic and the primordial ancestor Zerg, no desert god-killing bugs broke through the three main insect swarms' defense. Meanwhile, Lin Feng and Ling Zishi looked at the other battlefield. Bang 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 bang. At this time, the Insect King launched a continuous attack on the Devil King bug, accompanied by the sound of collision. The Devil King bug suffered a great blow. Under the Insect King's attack, the Devil King bug was forced to retreat. It could not threaten the Insect King at all. After seeing this scene, Ling Zishi suddenly became anxious. She said, "That insect king is so powerful. Your little bug is no match for that insect king. I'm afraid it won't be able to last long." Lin Feng smiled bitterly and nodded. The insect king's battle strength was indeed too powerful. This was even beyond Lin Feng's expectations. After the insect king sent the devil king bug flying, it once again attacked the devil king bug. The insect king stretched out its sharp claws and attacked the devil king bug. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng could not help but worry for the devil king bug. The devil king bug was in a bad situation. At any time, anywhere. At any time, it could be killed by the insect king. Although Lin Feng did not want to admit this, he had no choice but to do so. Just as the insect king's terrifying attack was about to land on the devil king bug's body, the devil king bug suddenly spat out a large number of silk threads. These silk threads were all black and had an extremely strange power lingering around them. After seeing these silk threads, Lin Feng could not help but be slightly stunned. He did not know that the devil king bug could actually spit out silk threads. Clearly, this was a special method passed down by the devil king bug race. At such a close distance, even the powerful insect king was unable to dodge the threads that the demonic king insect spat out. Therefore, the dense silk threads wrapped around the insect king's body. That little bug still has such a trump card? Leng Zishi excitedly shouted. At this time, the devil king bug began to attack the insect king. Dense runes appeared on the outside of the devil king bug's body. These runes completely covered its body. Even from a distance, Lin Feng could still feel the terrifying power from these runes. In the next moment, Chapter 5009. Bang! Along with the dull sound of the collision, the devil king worm slammed into the insect king's body. The insect king's body was extremely hard, but after taking the devil king worm's attack, the insect king's outer shell actually had many cracks. And from those cracks, some green juice flowed out. Those juice. It was emitting a foul smell. Those juice were probably equivalent to a cultivator's blood. The insect king was injured. This made Lin Feng and Leng Zishi reveal a look of joy. The devil king worm continued to charge towards the insect king, wanting to kill the insect king in one go. But at this time, the insect king roared in anger. It was simply humiliated that it was injured by the devil king worm. The insect king was an extremely proud existence. Therefore, it simply could not allow such a thing to happen. The insect king only wanted to quickly kill the devil king worm to vent its anger. Many black flames actually surged out of the insect king's body. The flames burned all the threads that were wrapped around its body into ashes. Then, the insect king slapped the devil king worm with its claws. At this time, the devil king worm flew over and collided with the insect king's huge claws. The devil king worm was once again blasted out. Although the insect king was injured, its fighting strength was still extremely heaven-defying. It was not an easy task to fight against the insect king. This point. It was indeed quite troublesome. The insect king rushed towards the devil king worm like a madman and then launched a crazy attack on it. It was mainly because this guy was injured by the devil king worm previously, so now it was extremely angry. The devil king worm was completely suppressed. Crack! 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 Under the constant attacks of the insect king, the devil king worm was injured, and many of the shells covering its body also had cracks. The devil king worm's blood was golden blood. Now, a lot of golden blood flowed out of the devil king worm's body. Seeing that the devil king worm was injured and suppressed to the point where it could not fight back, Lin Feng could not help but worry for the devil king worm. But now, he could not help the devil king worm. Everything depended on whether the devil king worm could survive this difficult period. The insect king's attacks became faster and stronger. The devil king worm was also being suppressed more and more. Lin Feng even felt that the devil king worm could not hold on any longer. Suddenly, a golden beam of light flew out from the devil king worm's body. He did not know what kind of light beam was it, but that light beam was extremely powerful. the light beam instantly flew in front of the insect king, and the insect king waved its claws to meet the golden light beam. But that golden light beam of light cut the insect king worm's claws. When Lin Feng and Ling Zishi saw that, their eyes twinkled. The Devil King worm was the insect king. The Devil King worm was the insect king worm. Insect king being crushed king worm until now. The Devil King bug displayed its unique characteristics. That golden light was unimaginably terrifying. Lin Feng was guessing that the demonic king insect had spent a lot of time condensing that golden light. It was very difficult to execute such an attack. However, once it was used, it could often cause extremely terrifying lethality. The Devil King worm had been suppressed for such a long time and did not have the power to fight back. Firstly, it was because in terms of battle strength, the Devil King worm was indeed not as strong as the Insect King. Secondly, it was because the Devil King worm did not fight the Insect King with all its might. Because the Devil King worm needed to condense that golden light beam, the Devil King worm could only use a portion of its battle strength to fight the Insect King. The rest of its energy was used to secretly condense that golden light beam. Fortunately, before the Devil King worm was killed by the Insect King, it successfully used its ultimate move. Screech! The Insect King, who had lost one of its claws, let out a painful cry. The Insect King losing one of its claws was like a person losing an arm. The impact was naturally great. The Devil King worm seized the opportunity and rushed forward. Once again, it slammed into the Insect King. After receiving the Devil King worm's attack, the Insect King was sent flying. Then, the Devil King worm spat out a mass of black liquid. The black liquid instantly enveloped the Insect King. The Insect King wanted to dodge, but it was too late. The poison was instantly sprinkled on the Insect King's body and seeped into the Insect King's body from its wound. The poison in the Devil King worm's body was naturally extremely terrifying. Therefore, when the Devil King worm's poison seeped into the Insect King's body, the Insect King roared in pain. The Insect King knew that it was in an extremely bad situation, so it turned around and quickly fled into the distance. The Devil King worm's morale was greatly boosted as it chased after the escaping Insect King. Seeing the Insect King flee, the surrounding desert god-killing worms suddenly seemed to have lost their backbone. A huge swarm of worms. They began to stir. Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. He did not expect the Devil King worm to turn the tables in this battle. Now, the Insect King was severely injured. Without the command of the Insect King, the swarm was like a mass of loose sand. Lin Feng immediately ordered the three major insect swarms, the Emperor Archaic and the Archaic Ancestor Worm Xia, to counterattack. Under the lead of the Emperor Archaic and the Archaic Ancestor Worm, the three major insect swarms launched a fierce counterattack against the worms in the depths of the desert. A large number of desert god-killing worms were killed, and the rest of the desert god-killing worms quickly fled in all directions. "Let's go and catch up to them," Lin Feng said. Ling Zishi nodded excitedly. She was overjoyed to have escaped death this time. Now, she could finally hold her head high. Lin Feng kept the three major insect swarms, leaving the Emperor Archaic and the Archaic Ancestor Worm outside. Then, he quickly chased after the Insect King and the Devil King worm in the distance. The Insect King was injured, and its speed was greatly reduced compared to its peak. Even so, the Insect King's speed was still very fast. The Devil King worm chased after the Insect King relentlessly, while Lin Feng used his mana to wrap around Ling Zishi. The Emperor Archaic and the Archaic Ancestor Worm quickly caught up with the Devil King worm. Lin Feng's speed was too fast. He wrapped the Devil King worm with his mana and continued to chase after the Insect King. When the Insect King saw that Lin Feng was about to catch up to it, its eyes became extremely gloomy. It increased its speed. After a quarter of an hour, the distance between the two sides was only about 100 meters. The Insect King also saw Lin Feng and the others chasing after it. At this moment, the Insect King directly burrowed into the ground. The Insect King instantly burrowed into the ground and disappeared without a trace. "You can't escape!" Lin Feng sneered and then used the Great Earth Elemental technique. Chapter 50:10. The Insect King obviously wanted to use the underground desert to block the footsteps of Lin Feng and the others. However, the Insect King did not expect that Lin Feng was proficient in the Great Earth Elemental technique. When Lin Feng and the others were traveling underground, there was basically no difference when they were flying on the ground. This was the extraordinary part of the Great Earth Elemental technique. This sacred art allowed people to travel unimpeded underground, so even if they were chasing the Insect King underground, Lin Feng and the others did not slow down at all. "That big cockroach in front, don't run. Hurry up and stop to die!" Ling Zishi shouted loudly. From the appearance of the Insect King, it did indeed look like a black cockroach that had been magnified many times. It looked rather disgusting. However, the Insect King was not a cockroach. A cockroach was only a lowly mortal insect. Insect King. It was an extremely high-level creature, so when the Insect King heard Ling Zishi use the word big cockroach to describe it, the Insect King immediately had the urge to cut Ling Zishi into 1,000 pieces. If it did not kill Ling Zishi, it would be difficult to dispel the hatred in its heart. However, the Insect King also knew that its current situation was rather bad. That human cultivator's speed was simply too fast. If this continued, it would be caught up. If it was caught, it would definitely die. The Insect King's eyes flickered with a strange light. In the end, it seemed to have made up its mind. The Insect King quickly changed its direction of flight. Then, the blood in its body began to burn. It wanted to burn its blood to increase its speed. The Insect King's speed increased greatly. However, Lin Feng had used the Tao of Space, and the Insect King was still unable to shake off Lin Feng. "Speed up and catch up to it," Ling Zishi said excitedly. Lin Feng said, "There's no rush, it has already been poisoned by the Demon King insect. Just follow it, there's no need to chase after it now. As time passes, the poison will worsen its body functions. At that time, it will be much easier to deal with it." Actually, Lin Feng had another reason that he did not mention. The Insect King was unable to produce larvae. The one who produced larvae or eggs was usually the mother insect. The Insect Queen was not the Insect King. Since there were so many desert god-killing bugs, there must be a queen bug. Lin Feng actually hoped that the Insect King could take him to the Insect Queen's nest to have a look. One had to know that Lin Feng's 3 insect swarms were no match for the desert god-killing bugs even when they joined forces. It could be seen from this. Desert god-killing bugs. How terrifying was that? If he could find the Insect Queen, he could raise it. He would definitely be able to cultivate the eggs of the desert god-killing worms. He would have the desert god-killing bugs. Including the 3 bug groups from before, he now had 4 bug groups. Would the 4 insect swarms unleash such terrifying combat power when they unleashed their might together? Just thinking about it made people feel shocked. At this moment, the Bug King knew that it couldn't shake off Lin Feng and the others, so it led them quickly through the underground desert. In the end, it led Lin Feng and the others into an underground abyss. That underground abyss was covered by an energy barrier. Therefore, the sand couldn't bury that underground abyss. The Bug King rushed into the abyss. Lin Feng and the others followed closely behind and rushed into the abyss. The Bug King quickly flew to the bottom of the abyss. Lin Feng and the others followed closely behind. Ling Zishi said, "This must be the Bug King's nest. We'll be able to cut off the Bug King's nest soon. I'm so excited." Seeing Ling Zishi's excited expression, Lin Feng couldn't help but smile bitterly. Previously, this girl was scared half to death by the Bug King and the desert god-killing bugs. How long had it been? She became so lively and active. Not long after, the Bug King rushed to the bottom of the abyss, and Lin Feng and the others chased after it. The Bug King quickly flew to the bottom of the abyss, and Lin Feng and the others followed closely behind. Not long after, the Bug King arrived at the bottom of the abyss. Lin Feng and the others also arrived at the bottom of the abyss. "Oh my God, what is that?" Ling Zishi couldn't help but exclaim. At the bottom of the abyss, something that looked like a beehive appeared, but it wasn't a beehive. Inside the beehive was a huge creature. One could vaguely see that it was a huge white bug. The white bug was huge, and even the bug king was only the size of a wash basin. However, its body was at least a dozen meters long. It's a queen bug. I didn't expect the desert god killing bug's queen bug to be so huge. No wonder there are so many of them. How many eggs can such a huge queen bug give birth to? Lin Feng exclaimed. That's the desert god killing bug's queen bug? Leng Zixi was startled. She quickly regained her senses and said, You clearly have the strength to catch up to the insect king, but you didn't. Was it because you wanted the insect king to lure you here? Lin Feng nodded. Indeed. The godly slaughtering insects of the desert are extremely strong. The 3 groups of insects I raised couldn't compete with the godly slaughtering insects of the desert. Therefore, I wanted to see if I could raise the godly slaughtering insects of the desert. If I wanted to raise the godly slaughtering insects of the desert, I had to find the mother of the godly slaughtering insects of the desert. The king of the insects didn't disappoint me. Human! You think too highly of yourself. You came here. You're just here to die. This queen is thinking of how to eat you later. Suddenly, an extremely cold voice came from the giant beehive. The voice was very hoarse. It was filled with a dense killing intent. Is that so? We'll have to see if you have the ability to do so, Lin Feng said indifferently. You'll find out soon enough whether I have the ability to do so. The bug queen sneered. Next, the bug queen crawled out of the nest. Lin Feng was shocked when the bug queen crawled out. He had thought that the bug queen was only a dozen meters long, but when it fully crawled out, it was actually more than 50 meters long. The bug king made a strange sound when it saw the bug queen crawling out. It should be the language of the bug race. The bug king was communicating with the bug queen. The bug queen looked coldly at the bug king and said, Trash. Bringing an outsider into your nest is a crime punishable by death. No matter how you explain, it's useless. Chapter 50:11. When Lin Feng and the others saw the queen eat the king, they were astonished. They hadn't thought the queen would do that. However, Lin Feng knew that the ultimate ruler of insects was not the king, but the queen. Why was that? It was because the queen gave birth to the entire race, including the king. The insect king was usually the most talented and powerful insect among all the insects. The insect queen would mate with the insect king and give birth to even more powerful offspring. In many insect species, the queen insect would eat the king insect within a certain period of time. For example, in some insect species, when the queen insect and the king insect finished mating, the queen insect would start to accumulate energy and give birth to eggs. The first thing the queen insect would do was to bite off the king insect's head while the king insect was still mating. After killing the king insect, the queen insect would slowly enjoy the body of the king insect. There was something that Lin Feng was puzzled about. Wasn't the difference in size between the queen and king of the desert god killing insects too great? How could they mate with such a huge difference? There was something that Lin Feng did not know. The desert god killing bug was a special kind of bug. If the queen bug wanted to give birth to a more powerful creature, she did not need to mate with the bug king. Eating the bug king would give birth to a more powerful creature. The desert god killing bug's queen bug was not that big in the first place. An ordinary queen bug was about 1 meter in size. The reason why this queen bug was so huge was because it had lived for a long time and had eaten many bug kings. Therefore, as time passed, its body continued to grow. Now, it had grown to such a huge size. The taste of an insect king is far inferior to that of a human's flesh and blood. Among all living beings, I've always felt that the flesh and blood of a human is the most delicious, especially since your bloodline is very powerful. The more powerful your bloodline is, the fewer impurities in your body, and the more delicious your flesh and blood will be. The queen looked at Lin Feng and said. Lin Feng sneered. A big meaty insect dares to be so arrogant. That's rare. Pfft. Leng Zixi laughed when she heard how Lin Feng addressed the queen. The queen was so powerful. Her cultivation was unfathomable. She was many times more terrifying than the king. However, Lin Feng used words like a big meaty insect to describe the queen. He did not take the queen seriously at all. The queen was furious when she heard Lin Feng's words. It was the high and mighty queen insect. Her dignity would not allow anyone to challenge her. But now, Lin Feng dared to call her a big meaty insect. This made the queen feel as if her dignity was being trampled on. "Go to hell!" the queen roared angrily. Then she opened her mouth and spat out a ball of energy. The insect queen's energy ball was extremely powerful and terrifying. "Disperse!" Lin Feng couldn't help but shout when he saw the ball of energy moving towards him. Even though Lin Feng looked down on the queen of insects, in reality, Lin Feng attached great importance to her. It only wanted to use words to provoke the insect queen. Once the queen was enraged, her battle power would be greatly affected. When the battle started, Lin Feng would not underestimate the queen. Hearing Lin Feng's warning, everyone scattered. Bang! A loud sound was heard. The ball of energy exploded. The destructive power spread in all directions. Fortunately, Lin Feng and the others reacted quickly and dodged the queen's attack. "Let's work together to deal with it," Lin Feng said. The others nodded. The Devil King bug opened its mouth and spat out a large net. The net was covered with runes. These runes contained extraordinary power and could strengthen the power of the net. It made the net extremely tough and would not be easily destroyed by the opponent's attack. The Devil King bug spat out a large net that directly enveloped the queen bug before wrapping around her body. It wanted to trap the queen in the net. The wings of the primordial butterfly emperor flapped, and waves of destructive power surged out, bombarding the insect queen. The primordial ancestor insect whipped the queen across the void. The primordial ancestor insect's attack formed a terrifying destructive power. The destructive power was all directed at the queen. Leng Zishi, on the other hand, took out a very special magic treasure. That magic treasure looked like a bell, but it wasn't a bell. It looked like a bell, but it wasn't a bell. She held the item in her hand and swung it around. Suddenly, a clanging sound was heard. The sound contained a powerful sound wave attack. It was very powerful. And the sound wave attack was all directed at the queen. Lin Feng used the emperor's scriptures, which was a powerful skill. 9 human emperors appeared. Then, the 9 human emperors all pounced on each other. "Queen's protection!" Suddenly, the queen let out a sharp and ear-piercing cry. When the queen's voice fell, 4 shields appeared around the insect queen's body. The 4 shields hovered around the queen's body. When all kinds of attacks were directed at the queen, they were all neutralized by the 4 shields around the queen. As for the demon king worm's net, it was swallowed by the queen worm. As for the magic treasure in Ling Zishi's hand that attacked the soul attack did not hurt the queen. It was also blocked by the queen's shields. "So sick!" Seeing this, Lin Feng could not help but exclaim. Swoosh! In the next moment, the queen's huge body disappeared. Only a breath's time had passed. The queen had already appeared above Lin Feng. Although the queen's body was huge, its body was very agile. The queen twisted its body and whipped at Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression changed. He quickly retreated, but it was too late. The queen insect's tail hit Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng was blown away by the attack. Then, the queen bug used its teleportation ability again. It quickly came to Lin Feng's side and opened its bloody mouth to devour Lin Feng. It swallowed Lin Feng like how it swallowed the Demon King. When the queen insect moved towards Lin Feng had the feeling that an invisible and intangible strength was restricting his movements. It made his body unable to move. No wonder the Demon King was easily swallowed by the queen. The queen had such a powerful move. Lin Feng's face darkened. This was going to be troublesome. In the next moment, Chapter 50:12. Quick, kill it! Seeing Lin Feng being swallowed, Leng Zishi shouted with a pale face. She took out her dagger and charged at the queen. Lin Feng could not die. That was the only thought in Ling Zixi mind. Thinking that Lin Feng might die in the queen's hands, Ling Zixi felt a throbbing pain in her heart. The Devil King Bug, Emperor Archaic, and Archaic Ancestor Bug all charged at the queen. They were loyal to Lin Feng. Even if they had to risk their lives, they had to save Lin Feng. Lowly ants, I'll let you know how powerful this queen is. Seeing Ling Zixi and the others charging at her, the queen sneered. Who? The queen bug opened its bloody mouth and spat out an extremely strange energy. The energy was like the dragon breath of the dragon clan. Although it was just an attack condensed from energy, it was unimaginably terrifying. Bang 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 bang, sounds of violent collisions could be heard. Ling Zixi, Emperor Archaic, Archaic Ancestor Bug, and Devil King Bug were all sent flying by the queen's attack. The queen sneered. Weak, you're too weak. Continue. Let this queen see how strong you are. The queen's main target was the Devil King Bug, Emperor Archaic, and Archaic Ancestor Bug. They were also from the insect race, and their bloodlines were extremely powerful. The queen naturally wanted to show off in front of them. As for Ling Zixi, she was ignored by the queen. Ling Zixi, Devil King Bug, Emperor Archaic, and Archaic Ancestor Bug continued to charge at the queen. The queen continued to spit out that terrifying energy. Bang bang bang, both sides clashed again. This time, Ling Zixi, Devil King Bug, Emperor Archaic, and Archaic Ancestor Bug were sent flying again. Wah! After being sent flying for the second time, Ling Zixi spat out a mouthful of blood. The queen. She was too strong. At the very least, she was at the Dao Immortal Realm. Some were even at the high-level Dao Immortal Realm. Such a tyrannical existence was naturally not what Ling Zixi and the rest could contend with. The demonic king insect, Emperor Archaic, and primordial ancestor insect were also in a bad situation. They were also sent flying, their injuries not light. I'll eat you first, then I'll deal with the other three. The queen insect looked at Ling Zixi coldly. Then, she dashed towards Ling Zixi, wanting to eat her. The queen insect was simply too fast. In the blink of an eye, it had arrived before Ling Zixi, and then it opened its bloody mouth to devour Ling Zixi. Just as it was about to devour Ling Zixi, a dazzling ray of light suddenly sliced open the queen insect's body from the inside. The queen insect let out a painful roar. Its body rolled in pain in the void, and Lin Feng rushed out from its wound. Seeing Lin Feng rush out, Ling Zixi immediately revealed a look of joy. The demonic king bug, Emperor Archaic, and Archaic Ancestor Bug were also pleasantly surprised. Why? Why aren't you dead? The queen insect looked at Lin Feng in disbelief. The queen insect's body contained an extremely powerful digestive fluid. That digestive fluid could instantly melt any cultivator's body. So, from the queen insect's point of view, Lin Feng would definitely be melted after being devoured by it. However, Lin Feng was not melted. Instead, it tore its body from the inside. Lin Feng's injury to the queen insect was extremely serious. It was as if a person's abdomen had been sliced open by a knife. If it was slightly more serious, it would be a rather fatal injury. Of course, the queen insect's cultivation was strong, so it would not die. However, even if it did not die, this injury was still very serious. The digestive fluid in your body? I've kept it in a treasure. This thing is not bad, it should be very useful in the future. Lin Feng smiled and said, You deserve to die. The queen insect roared angrily. It quickly charged towards Lin Feng. Its wound was still bleeding. The queen insect was already flustered and exasperated after being injured by Lin Feng. It wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Feng. For a terrifying creature like the queen insect, its counterattack before death was usually the most powerful. Although Lin Feng did not know what realm the queen insect was in. However, Lin Feng felt the queen insect was most likely a high-level Dao immortal. If he hadn't used a trick to injure the queen insect, defeating it would have been as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, the queen insect's battle prowess had been greatly reduced due to its severe injuries. So, the queen insect was not invincible now. facing the queen insect's attack. Lin Feng kept the black dragon sword and then took out the epic war spear. In fact, Lin Feng did not like to use the epic war spear because it was too powerful. Lin Feng was worried that he would rely on the epic war spear in the future. This would affect his cultivation. However, he did not have to worry about this at the current stage. Lin Feng was still unfamiliar with the epic war spear. He planned to familiarize himself with it first. When he was more familiar with it, he would try not to use the epic war spear easily. Of course, in today's situation, even if he was familiar with the epic war spear, it would be fine to use it. After all, an expert like the queen insect was in a very high realm. If he did not use some powerful treasure, it would be difficult to defeat it. Lin Feng stabbed the epic war spear at the queen insect. The surface of the queen insect's body was surrounded by countless runes. These runes were very powerful and they protected the queen insect's body. The queen insect's body was its most powerful weapon. Especially now that it was protected by the runes, it was even more powerful. The queen insect's thick tail whipped at Lin Feng. "Eat my spear." Lin Feng sneered and stabbed the queen insect with his powerful spear. A popping sound could be heard. Lin Feng's spear pierced through the queen insect's body. Blood spurted out. "Impossible!" The queen insect roared in disbelief. The runes surrounding its body were so terrifying, but they were still easily pierced by Lin Feng. The queen insect could not accept this, said Lin Feng, smiling coldly. He immediately released the 8 seals. Numerous runes condensed and formed. These runes quickly flew out and imprinted themselves on the queen insect's body. In an instant, the queen insect was sealed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng then pulled out the epic war spear from the queen insect's body. "Queen insect, I'll give you a chance to live. You can choose to follow me or die. I'll give you 10 breaths of time to think." Lin Feng looked at the queen insect. The queen insect's face was extremely gloomy. A powerful creature like her was naturally unwilling to submit to others. However, the queen insect did not want to die. "I'm willing to submit." Chapter 50:13. Make a vow. Lin Feng looked at the insect queen and said, I, the queen of the desert god-killing insect race, am willing to acknowledge you as my master. If I dare to betray you, I will be struck by lightning and die a horrible death." The insect queen made a vow. When the insect queen finished speaking, Lin Feng and the insect queen formed a close connection. This was the vow contract that connected the two of them together. Henceforth, the insect queen could no longer betray Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "Insect queen, as long as you remain loyal to me, I will not mistreat you. Go and treat your injuries first." Lin Feng waved his hand, and the insect queen's nest was sent into the temporal space along with the insect queen. As for the desert god-killing insects that had fled in all directions, Lin Feng did not plan to look for them. That would be a waste of time. Moreover, the insects might not necessarily be loyal to him. Although the insect queen could order the insects to be loyal to him, there might still be some powerful desert god-killing insects that disobeyed the insect queen's orders. Therefore, it was extremely dangerous to bring those desert god-killing insects with him. If he was not careful one day, he might suffer a backlash from the desert god-killing insects. As for the newly bred desert god-killing insects, there was no need to worry. Before the insect swarm was born, the queen insect had already instilled the insect eggs with the belief that they would be loyal to her. Once the insect swarm was born, they would naturally be loyal to her. Lin Feng sent the Devil King insect, Emperor Archaic, and Ancestor insect back into the temporal space. Then, he left with Ling Zishi. When they arrived outside, they continued heading deeper into the region. This place, it was extremely dangerous. Hopefully, Little Rock King would be fine. Lin Feng continued using the heart compass to indicate Little Rock King's location. Finally, Lin Feng arrived at a desert mountain range. However, Lin Feng did not find any trace of Little Rock King. "It's here. There shouldn't be no trace of Little Rock King. This is extremely strange." Great immortal sage Martin could not help but mutter. It rarely failed. However, he failed this time because there was no trace of the little rock king in the place indicated by the heart compass. Lin Feng asked. Could it be that the magnetic field here is interfering with the heart compass's judgment? The sacred Martin Immortal nodded and said, There is indeed such a possibility. I never expected the magnetic field here to be so powerful. I wonder what kind of powerful existence is buried in this desert to form such a terrifying magnetic field. The reason the sacred Martin Great Immortal said this was because under normal circumstances, places where magnetic fields were formed would only form when top powerhouses had fallen. There were strong and weak magnetic fields. The stronger the cultivator, the stronger the magnetic field at the place where they died. The magnetic field in the ancient demon desert was unprecedentedly strong. From this, it could be inferred that the expert who had died in the ancient demon desert must have been an earth-shattering existence. Does this mean that we won't be able to find Little Rock King's location? Lin Feng asked with a frown. It is indeed difficult, but don't be discouraged. Later, find a place where the magnetic field is relatively weak, and then try again. Great Immortal Sage Martin Great Immortal said. Lin Feng nodded. This was the only way. There seemed to be no other way. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi flew outside. Lin Feng wanted to find a place where the magnetic field was relatively weak. Such a place was not difficult to find. A place with a strong magnetic field would suppress one's divine sense more, and a place with a weak magnetic field would suppress one's divine sense less. Therefore, using one's divine sense to sense the magnetic field around them was a good method. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi had just left the mountain range not long ago. In the distance, a powerful sandstorm was blowing. The sandstorm was rushing towards Lin Feng and Ling Zishi. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi were naturally not afraid of the sandstorm, especially Ling Zishi. After seeing the sandstorm, she was not afraid at all. Instead, she found it very amusing. The woman shouted excitedly as she flew towards the sandstorm. Lin Feng knew that Ling Zishi had some special means. Even if it was just passing through the sandstorm, there would be no problem. Lin Feng took out his hurricane pearl. Lin Feng needed the help of the hurricane pearl to deal with the raging sandstorm. He quickly chased after Ling Zishi. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi entered the sandstorm together. The sandstorm swept across the land, but it could not do anything to Lin Feng and Ling Zishi. The two of them were extremely fast. They needed to pass through the sandstorm quickly. However, halfway through, Lin Feng suddenly found that the speed of his blood flow had begun to accelerate. Lin Feng could not help but be shocked. This was the ability of sudden inspiration. It meant that danger was approaching. Otherwise, the blood flow would not be so fast. Lin Feng did not know what kind of danger there was, but since the blood flow was so fast, it must be fatal. Therefore, Lin Feng hugged Ling Zishi's slender waist and used the heaven patching technique. Borrowing another opportunity from the sky, Lin Feng and Ling Zishi quickly disappeared. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi had just left. Suddenly, the void in that area exploded. Boundless space-time force devoured that area in an instant. There was also a strange and terrifying power of destruction mixed in the space-time force. That power of destruction fused with the space-time force. It was simply an invincible killing weapon, causing people to turn pale with fright. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi appeared 200 meters away. Lin Feng and Ling Zishi could not help but feel a lingering fear. They did not know what the other party had done. The combat power they had displayed was actually so terrifying. Who is it? Get out here, Lin Feng said coldly. Keek keek. A sinister laughter suddenly rang out. Lin Feng looked in the direction of the laughter and saw a cultivator in golden robes. After seeing the cultivator in golden robes, Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. The cultivator was very strange. He looked very similar to a human, but his skin was yellow. His ears were pointed and his eyes were long and narrow. His eyes were the most unique part. Others had black and white pupils. That cultivator's eyes were actually earth yellow in color. Lin Feng had been to many places and seen many races. However, this was his first time seeing such a cultivator. Kid, you're quite capable. You actually managed to dodge my attack. The cultivator's sinister eyes looked at Lin Feng. Then, he looked at Leng Zishi. Chapter 50:14. Leng Zishi was beautiful, so when she saw the evil look in the cultivator's eyes, Lin Feng knew what he was up to. Leng Zishi was also very sensitive, so she naturally felt the cultivator's malicious gaze. Leng Zishi was not easy to deal with. She cursed loudly. What are you looking at? Do you believe that I won't dig your dog eyes out? TSK, I didn't expect a little beauty like you to be a little pepper. Not bad, not bad. This young master likes little peppers like you the most. I'll let you know how powerful this young master is later, the cultivator said sinisterly. Who are you, you idiot? You don't look like a human or a ghost. Could it be that you're from a race in the desert? Lin Feng looked at the cultivator and asked. When he heard Lin Feng call him an idiot, the cultivator's expression immediately became extremely ugly. Lin Feng's words were full of insults, so the cultivator was naturally extremely angry. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, Kid, I have to say that your mouth is really cheap. Later, I'll let your blood spill in the desert and your corpse turn into sand. Lin Feng said, My mouth is cheap. I don't think so. You're an idiot. Even if my mouth is cheap, it's much better than your personality, right? I think you should just change your name. Let's call you Bitch. I don't know which genius invented the word bitch, but it's simply tailor-made for you. When she heard Lin Feng's mocking words, Leng Zishi immediately laughed. Lin Feng's ability to argue was really too good. He was simply unrivaled. It was enough to infuriate someone to death. The cultivator was so angry at Lin Feng that his whole body trembled. He said coldly, Kid, I want your life. As soon as he finished speaking, a fierce wind swept through the world. The cultivator hid in the raging storm and quickly attacked Lin Feng. This person's cultivation was extremely terrifying, and he could even control sandstorms. This should be a racial ability. Lin Feng recalled that when he entered the ancient demon desert, he also encountered a sandstorm. Lin Feng felt that perhaps the sandstorm was also man-made. Perhaps the cultivator's fellow clansmen were hidden in the sandstorm. Lin Feng took out the Hou-Yi Bao and sun-slaying divine arrows. At the same time, he took out many magical arrows. It was most suitable for remote attacks right now. In terms of the power of remote attacks, was there any engineering magical equipment that was more powerful than the Hou-Yi Bao and the sun-shooting arrow? As for the ordinary arrows, they were used by Lin Feng to confuse the cultivator. The real killing move was the sun-slaying divine arrow hidden among the magical arrows. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Lin Feng pulled back his bow and shot out arrows as fast as lightning towards the cultivator. The power of these arrows was extremely frightening, causing others to be shocked. Even if it was just an ordinary arrow, it would still be extremely powerful after being strengthened by the Hou-Yi Bao. 9-star alignment. 7 stars piercing the sun. Lin Feng continued to attack. A dense barrage of arrows shot towards the cultivator. The cultivator's face suddenly sank. This was because he felt the terrifying power of these arrows. Therefore, he did not dare to be careless. He took out a battle spear and swept it towards the arrows that were shooting towards him. Clang, 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 clang. Along with the sound of violent collisions, the cultivator's battle spear collided. The battle spear in the cultivator's hand collided with the magical arrows shot by Lin Feng. The cultivator was indeed very frightening. He directly destroyed the arrows shot by Lin Feng. The cultivator heaved a sigh of relief. After fighting for a while, he could finally relax. Although the magical arrows shot by Lin Feng were powerful, they were still not enough to hurt him. He was still a little worried before, but after fighting for real, his worries were all gone. Is that all you've got? If it wasn't for that bow, perhaps you would have been trampled under my feet by now. The cultivator sneered as he looked at Lin Feng, his eyes full of contempt. This person naturally knew that Lin Feng's methods were extraordinary, but so what? No matter how extraordinary his methods were, it still depended on who he was compared to. Compared to him, he was far inferior. Lin Feng sneered and ignored him. He continued to draw his bow and shoot. Clang, 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 clang. The cultivator wielded his spear and destroyed one arrow after another. Although Lin Feng's arrows were powerful, they did not pose much of a threat to him. When he saw that Lin Feng was still shooting arrows, he was astonished. The cultivator sneered and said, "What an idiot! I really don't know how an idiot like you could cultivate to this level." He thought that he had everything under control and was filled with disdain and contempt for Lin Feng. In his opinion, killing Lin Feng was not a difficult matter. He was rapidly approaching Lin Feng. There were only 40 to 50 meters between the two of them. But Lin Feng was still shooting arrows. Clang, 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 clang. Sounds of collisions rang out one after another as the arrows were shattered by the cultivator. However, after he shattered a few more arrows, another arrow shot towards him. When the arrow arrived, the cultivator's expression changed slightly. This was because he discovered that the incoming arrow was completely different from the previous ones. It was unknown how many times more powerful it was than the previous magical arrows. He instinctively wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. He could only brace himself and block the arrow. This magical arrow was naturally the sun-shot divine arrow. Lin Feng waited until the cultivator was 40 to 50 meters away from him before shooting the sun-shot divine arrow. Firstly, he wanted to use other magical arrows to confuse the cultivator. After all, the cultivator's cultivation was extremely terrifying and his methods were quite strange. He had to be wary of him. Secondly, he wanted to shoot the sun-shot divine arrow at a short distance. By the time the cultivator reacted, the sun-shot divine arrow would have already reached him. He would have no time to dodge the sun-shot divine arrow. If the distance was too far, he might have a way to dodge the sun-shot divine arrow's attack. Lin Feng had already calculated everything. Clang! At this moment, the cultivator's war spear fiercely swept the sun-shot divine arrow. However, his right hand that was holding the war spear was shattered and blood immediately flowed out. But he still could not shake off the sun-shot divine arrow. In fact, he could not even change the direction of the sun-shot divine arrow, let alone shake it off. Puff! The next moment. With a tearing sound, the sun-shot divine arrow pierced through the cultivator's chest. Blood immediately gushed out from his chest. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.